How's it going?
What do you got?
You believe God is imaginary.
Yes. Now, what is your evidence for God?
The earth. Us. Engaging
How
in
old are you?
dialogue.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 20 years old.
What year were you born?
03.
Yeah, so the reason why you just can't say that we are evidence of God is because we could also be evidence of nature, like without a God. So you can't just say
Here's the
we exist,
thing.
therefore God. That's ridiculous.
All right,
Like, give us an actual argument.
All right, let me say this. I don't think you can prove either opinion. Let's just say that.
No, no,
So
no,
at the
no.
end of
You can. If you can just give me evidence of your
you
claim,
can't prove that there's
you
no
win.
God, but you can't prove that there is a God. Can you agree with that at
We can
least?
definitely disprove a God, depending if it's illogical or not. Now,
But there's no objective way to prove it.
Yes, there is. Analytically, we can take a look at the definition of God, and if it entails a logical contradiction, it can't exist by definition.
Using a subjective definition made by humans to see that
Yeah,
God doesn't
exactly.
exist.
Your definition of God is illogical, just like a square circle. That can't exist, right?
Yeah.
Great. So if your God entails logical inconsistencies, it can't exist. And we can take a look at
All
things
right, I
like
don't know.
paradoxes.
I don't even believe in God. I'm just fucking with you, bro. Have a good night.
What's good, Pipsqueak? I seen that you try to escape me. You're easy picking.
Hello, is my
Why do you
audio
go?
coming in right?
Yeah, what do you got?
Actually, I'm not actually here to oppose your claim. Actually, I am here to agree with your claim.
You got to speak up, sir. You got to speak up. We can't hear you.
Is my connection not coming in right?
Yeah. What's your argument?
Basically, actually, I don't believe in God either. Actually, I'm here to agree to your.
Holy moly. There's no evidence of God because I don't know any evidence. Yeah, nobody knows any evidence, especially you. You don't have any evidence of God. Nobody does. Nobody has evidence of a God. Nobody. You see him soon enough. How do you know that? Right? What's your reasons for that? How old are you? Our existence is evidence. No, you can't just say our existence is evidence. I can use that for anything I want to. It doesn't work.
Yo, Mike.
They're crying because Jesus came to them.
Yo,
What do you got?
yo,
Yo! How were things created? Nothing was created.
Here we go.
If it was, it's shitty.
Hey, buddy.
What do you got?
God is imaginary. So you're an atheist?
Yeah, now what's your argument for God, sir? Hurry up.
It's a logical one. You believe in logic?
Yeah, I believe in logic.
Cool. Well, here's a logical process that leads to at least a universal mind. So the laws of logic are universal, right?
No.
Why are you a dick?
Logic,
What are you shaking your head for? Do you want to talk or no?
because I've heard this dumb argument thousands of times.
Tell me.
Logic is mind dependent. It is descriptive of reality. It is not universal. It is
It
not
is
something
universal.
that exists
Tell
beyond the
me
mind.
where it's not universal.
What universal means outside the mind.
Give me an example of a law of logic being not universal, applying the same here as anywhere, anytime.
Well, we don't know if it's universal or not. That's the problem. But more
We
importantly,
do know. What are you
logic.
talking about?
Hold on. But more
You're
importantly,
suspending reality for your own
sir,
argument?
please listen. It doesn't matter if it is or not. Logic.
But it does matter because you keep cutting me off to make my argument.
Now, listen. Logic seems to be mind dependent. Logic is how we think, how our brains operate. So we can ground logic in human minds in the sense that logic is now a descriptor for reality. It is something we use to describe, just like mathematics. So, in that case, you don't need a God or a mind beyond ours to ground logic. There you go. Now, please give me evidence of this mind beyond ours.
Okay. The laws of logic are abstractions, meaning of the mind. They don't exist anywhere but the mind. They're also universal. So that means what? A universal abstraction would imply what? A universal mind. There you
No,
go.
it would apply a human mind that
What
perceives
human
things to be
mind? What
universal.
human
No,
mind
no,
applies
no,
across the
sir.
entire world in the same way every time when you use any law of logic?
Sir, listen.
Did you
What
mute
you
me
just
again?
described, sir, what you just described could also could be explained by a human mind that perceives things to be universal.
What human mind makes the laws of
Our
logic
mind.
universal?
Our mind. Yes, we can perceive things to be universal when
But
perhaps
that
they're
makes
not,
no sense.
or perhaps
What societies throughout history have always thought the same?
every human being thinks, and our brains operate in the same way. That's why logic exists. That's why logic exists in many other animal species, because we have the prefrontal cortex, which allows us, which our brains operate in certain ways. But by the way, there are different types of logics. There's not just classical logic, right? There's different types of logic. So the idea that only classical logic is the only one, it's ridiculous. We know that logic is a system that our minds can produce. Our minds can ground.
No, that's wrong. Our
need
minds
something
don't
beyond.
produce something like that.
Great. Then give us evidence that there's some mind beyond the universe.
I just said they're universal. You don't agree, which is weird. I don't know who would disagree with that other than trying to
They can be universal and
make an
still be
argument
grounded
for your own position.
Sure. They can be universal and be grounded in human minds at the same time.
That's a contradiction. No, they can't.
Yeah, where's the contradiction?
What human mind runs the matrix? One human mind runs the matrix?
What? Where's the contradiction, sir? Give the P and not P.
You just said they can be universal and
Why
be
not?
what?
Why not? Where's the contradiction?
What did you say again so I can recap? They can be universal and what?
Please stay on track with the argument, sir.
Oh, you're so above us all with your
logic, yet then still be universal.
you're like sighing, oh, these peasants. I'm so above you with my mind power.
No, it's just that you're not tracking with the argument and wasting our time.
I am tracking. You cut me off to say that that the laws of logic are not universal.
Just hurry up. Just hurry up, sir.
That was my argument. I mean, if you disagree, then good for you.
You said there was a contradiction. I'm waiting for the contradiction.
I don't remember what you said. It left me.
Okay, great. We'll come back next time. Maybe you'll remember next time. Please stay on track with the argument.
Hey, beautiful. Hello?
Yeah.
Hi. I was just saying hello.
Okay. Do you have an argument?
No, I don't have an argument. I was just reading the comments and reading that you think God is imaginary, and I'm wondering why you think that.
Because there's no evidence of a God. Do you have any?
Absolutely.
Great. Let's hear it.
Ever sought him out? Have you ever sought him out and prayed to him? Well, first of all, God gave us free will, and you have to seek Him out in order
Yeah.
to experience
Okay,
anything.
great. So let's seek him out right now. God, come into my life. Fill us up with the Holy
No, I
Spirit.
don't know. You can't do it like that.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't.
All right,
No,
good.
you're making fun of it. You have to go to just go to a place that you feel safe and comfortable, and Him, whether you don't believe in it or not. Just seek Him out and pray and see what you get.
So this sounds like confirmation bias. This sounds like when you're alone by yourself, you feel like you're talking to somebody in your head when it could just be yourself, right? So how do you know that you're talking to some magic Jesus wizard guy and not just yourself?
Because you get experiences, you get answers and
Okay,
experiences
great. So give
from those
us
prayers.
an example of an experience that you saw with Jesus.
Okay, well, I went to church one time, and when I pulled into the parking lot, I just all of a sudden had a vision of people that walked into church and shot people up and killed people. I don't know why I had that thought. Anyway, walked into church, put my daughter.
Okay, have a good day, ma'am. Enjoy your rest of your evening.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, what do you got?
Alright, so I got two questions. So can you explain to me how a Bible doesn't burn in a fire if God isn't real?
How old are you?
I'm 17, what's up?
Okay, we can tell. Have a good day, sir. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
it's right.
burn. Bibles burn all the time. They burn all the time. And by the way, why does God let people burn, but not his little book of fairy tales? That seems like a stupid thing to do, a terrible thing to do.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, what's your argument today?
I don't have an argument. I just wanted to praise you for the work you do, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. Have a good day. Check Skin Submit's pin video. Yeah, he actually does that. So go check out his video where he burns a Bible. Trust me, they're flammable. Hello?
Hello, can you guys hear me good?
Unfortunately. What do you got?
Well, I'm 18 years old, and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, that He's the Son of God. So you're claiming that God is imaginary, but you can't claim that. For one,
Oh, why
you
not?
can't prove that he's that the evidence of God is correct, but it's literally in Bible. It's in Scripture. So do you think somebody would
So
write
we're
a whole
talking
scripture
donkey.
of Proverbs? Go,
So we're
write
talking donkey,
all
sir.
those scriptures of God if he was fake. That's the thing. You say that you have never experienced
Okay,
God,
hold on,
but
kid. Hold on.
you have never seeked them with a loving
Okay,
heart. You have
hold
never seeked
on,
them with faith.
hold
When you
on,
made
hold
fun
on.
of him, I got truly offended because you made fun of God.
Okay, you can't just go by a book, right? We need more than a story. We need more than that. But more importantly, making fun of religions is something that we need to do more often because religions make fun of us. Religions mock me. It tells me I should be burning. It tells me that I'm worthless without your God. Your religion mocks us. So please give an argument for God and not just a story. Because your story also
Okay.
says donkeys can talk.
Nah, okay. I respect the fact that you're standing up for people that do not believe in God, but you need to understand that you're a child of God. You're just choosing the wrong
How do you know
path.
that? How do you know that? How do you know this?
You
How do
have
you know
never
this?
seen, because I have experienced God. I have
Oh,
experienced His presence within my heart, and
okay,
I
great.
could
So,
tell you
okay, great. So, how do you know that you experienced him?
because He spoke to me. It says it in
What
the
did he
Bible. It
sound
says it
like,
in
sir? What did
Scripture.
he sound like?
What did He sound like? He sounded like my God. I can hear voices. I
Oh,
cannot hear
wow.
a
Okay.
distinct voice of a
Sure.
sound, but I can hear what He's telling me. When I sin, I pray to Him, and He tells me everything's gonna be okay. God is loving, and He will
Sir,
give
does he
you
sound
the
like a
love of God.
person? Does he sound like a person
Listen,
or yourself?
okay, you don't need to listen to me, bro. You can laugh at what I'm saying so nobody will take
No,
you serious. But what I'm saying is that
sir.
God is going to take away the people that have wickedness in
No,
their
you're not
heart.
going to
The
preach on my
wicked
life.
shall be
No. You're
burnt,
not
and
going
the
to preach
one.
your garbage. No, you're not going to preach your garbage. I'd rather burn in hell than be like you, frankly. More importantly, though, what you're saying is unfalsifiable. How do we know what you're hearing in your head? You could be schizophrenic for all we fucking know. We have no idea what you're hearing in your mind. By the way, hallucinations happen to many people around the world. How the fuck did you discount that? You can't sit here and pretend you know everything because you have a voice in your head. This is ridiculous. This is childish. Give me evidence or go away.
The evidence is in the Bible. It's in the Bible.
Okay.
It's in Scripture.
How
You said that
and how
it's
do
a
you know the
fairy tale
Bible?
book,
And how
but
do you know the
it's
Bible is true?
literally the Word of God.
How do you know
It's the
that?
Word of God.
How do you know? How do you
Jesus
know? How do you
Christ,
know?
Jesus Christ.
How do you know?
I know, bro. Anybody that follows it will know.
No.
You're
You
gonna
can't
be
just
in
say I
this. You're
know,
gonna be
bro.
in disbelief because you don't believe in it.
I had enough. You can't just say trust me, bro. You literally did that. You literally did that. We need more than trust me, bro. Hello?
Yo,
What do you got?
I just want to tell you like a personal experience I had with God. Like,
Make it quick.
all right, so my dad and my sister, they weren't doing too good and they were arguing a lot over the years. And they didn't really have a good relationship. And so me and my dad saw these people. This guy did ministry work and stuff, and he offered to pray over it, to pray over our family. So we prayed and all that. And
Right.
once we got done praying, my dad got a text immediately from my sister asking to meet up and that she misses him and she's sorry. And just like a supernatural experience, you know?
That was it?
That's just something you have to experience.
That was the experience with Jesus? A text message?
You wouldn't understand, bro. Trust me.
Okay, how do you know that was not a coincidence?
Because there's power in prayer.
No. How do you know? Oh yeah, really?
Yes, bro.
God, give me $1,000 on my hand right now. I pray. Oh, no fucking money. I guess it doesn't work. Now, how do you know that this was not a coincidence?
Because I believe in the power of prayer.
I don't give a shit I believe in Snuffleupagus monster. It doesn't matter.
You just wouldn't understand,
How do you
bro.
know that this was not coincidence?
Because I know.
Another trust me, bro. Oh, another trust me, bro. Another one. DJ Khaled.
What's going on, Mike?
Yeah, what do you got?
So I just want to get an idea. So what do you get out of like coming on TikTok platform? I love that you have the
What
freedom
do
to
you
do
get
it.
out of sitting here and not actually paying attention to the argument and giving evidence? evidence for your magic,
Well, no,
man.
I want to hear it from your perspective because I haven't heard you say it like.
No, I'm good. Maybe you should learn before you speak, because what I'm doing is actually trying to promote critical thinking skills, something you might never actually ever had. Hey, what do you got?
Well, listen up. I got some real proof of God here.
Great, let's hear it.
Yeah. So like, I was late to a concert, and so I was like looking around for parking, and like I was thinking there's definitely not going to be a spot because this was like a super popular group. It was Blink-182, and they were doing their concert again. Anyway, and then I was like, well, maybe I should pray about it. You know, like I haven't done it in a while, so I decided to
Okay,
pray.
and what, you found the spot, your parking spot?
Yeah, like right away.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's a good argument right there, guys. Parking lot found, therefore God. Hello?
Hello.
How old are you?
I am 27.
Okay, great. What's your argument?
Okay, so I have been really doubtful growing up that there is a God, but I saw a girl demon possessed. I saw her gorgeous blue eyes turn to black. And like you just
Okay.
can't, I just could not come back from that. I just dropped to the floor and I cried. And she told me that
Okay.
there's plenty of
Was this like contact lenses?
no,
Was
so
this like a Halloween
she
skit?
had so she had blue eyes. I watched her eyes turn from blue to black.
Okay, was this
Even
in
the
a
white
dark?
parts of her eyes.
Was this in a dark setting?
No.
Okay.
This was actually in the morning, and she was from Fiji, and she had witchcraft done on her by
Yeah, with
her mom's
yeah,
friend.
I hate that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So how would you explain
so
that? If there's no spiritual realm, if there's no God, then how would you explain that?
man. Perhaps it could be hallucination. That's one of the first things that comes to my
What if
mind.
there were
Maybe
30
you're
other
a little.
witnesses?
Maybe
30
not
other
everything's up there,
witnesses.
working properly up there. Maybe not everything's working properly up there.
What about 30 other witnesses? Are we all,
Oh, great.
did
Do
we
you
all,
have any camera footage of this? Do you have any actual evidence of this? Because I can't just
you
take
would
your
say
word
it
for
was
it.
Photoshop. You would say, oh,
But do you have the video?
no,
There's 30
but
people.
there's 30 other witnesses.
30 people. Nobody thought of, hey, let's tape this. This awesome demon possession. Nobody thought that?
No one, we were all worried about her. We weren't trying to like expose her.
Okay, and what else happened to her?
Are you gonna look up like, oh, if like this was some kind of what do you call it? What are you looking up?
Yeah, so there could be, there's something called a concussion. There's a fever that could turn your eye black.
Okay, what if she was
Trauma. There's
yelling, she
also
was
trauma.
screaming, and she was scratching herself?
Yeah, that's panic attack. And
A panic attack and your eyes turned pitch black.
yeah, and how do we know if if her eyes were actually black though? You keep saying this. I'm not going to just trust you. We need more than that.
Yeah.
Like, we need more than this. Like, I'm not going to trust some lady on TikTok. Trust me, bro. Her eyes were black. It was awesome, man. It was radical. Like, as much as I would love to believe this, I'm
And
not
I
having a
just
hard time.
want to say that I appreciate you because you're searching for God. I could tell that you have this
No.
infinitesimal doubt in your mind. Maybe there is
There's
a God. Maybe
there's where you're done. I'm not searching for your magic wizard, right? I'm looking for evidence of truth. I'm not looking for your wizard. I'm looking for evidence of truth. Now, please, do you have any actual evidence of her eyes turning black? There could have been a different number of things happening here. There could have been maybe lighting was off, right? Maybe there were some other things happening around her. Maybe she had trauma. She was going crazy. Maybe she had contact. Maybe she was playing a gag on you. Maybe she was playing a skit. We have all these possible scenarios that are way more likely than demon. Trust me, bro. So let's think of all the possibilities before the last thing we say is it must have been a demon. That's the last thing we should be saying, right? And if it was a demon, great. I love demons. Let's see more of them. But don't just sit here and pretend you have all the answers. We need more data. Hello? All right. Let's put an egg test in here. Be open-minded. I am open-minded. There's just no reason to believe in a god or demons. It's not compelling enough for me. Trust me, bro, it's not compelling enough. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
What do you got?
How are you, bro? So you're talking about the God. God is not existing, you mean? Yeah, that's actually, this is the very big illness in our century. Many atheists, they are denying the God.
Sir, can you give us argument for your magic space daddy or no?
Yes, of course. So we are talking, so I'm just trying to open the conversation. What do you want me to direct the show? What is the God? It's impossible, especially on TikTok.
Sir, do you have any actual argument for God, or just going to believe with no reason?
No, I don't have any argument because...
Okay, then you're being irrational by definition. You're just believing for no reason.
Look.
Hello? Hello? Why is everyone against him? Because most people believe in God, and when they hear me saying that you're wrong, they get mad.
Well,
what do you got?
Well, I want to ask you, why don't you believe in God?
No evidence.
There's no evidence, but what about the things that scientists say, like how it's like 1 in 20 trillion of a chance that all of life came to be through a Big Bang?
Oh, really? Where's your source for that? 1 in trillion, 1 in 20 trillion.
Well, I'm not saying an exact number, but you can look. I can look it up right now and find that evidence.
Great. Show us the evidence. Show us the source where it says, the chance of us being here is so small, God must exist.
Okay, so you think that something could come from nothing? Or that all of this can form from a Big Bang?
No, that's what you think. You think everything poofed here by some magic cosmic space wizard in 6 days.
Well, you think that something came here through the collision of two atoms.
No. Is that what you think the Big Bang is?
Or what do you think the Big Bang is?
The Big Bang is the expansion of space-time that's pre-existing, from a smaller state to a hotter, to a colder, larger state.
So it expanded from an atom form. It expanded from an
There was
atom
no
form,
atom.
a small
No,
state.
there was no atom, sir.
Okay, so what? So then, what form did it form from, or what did it expand from?
Could have always existed in some state, some hot gluon plasma state. Could have always been.
And so then, what caused human existence? However many years ago.
Evolution.
Evolution. So where's your proof for evolution? Where's your exact proof for billions of years? I believe that humans were put on this earth 6,000 years ago.
I don't give a shit what you believe. The evidence for evolution is in our DNA, in fossils, and in lab experiments. No, I'm sorry, but if you don't even understand science, and you're going to come up here and think you have an argument when you don't even understand your own theory, your own ideas.
I do. It's not what I believe is backed by proof.
Oh, really? Where's the proof of God?
The proof of God is that, first of all, there is tradition, there is backdating, there's scientists who absolutely do not deny that Jesus Christ died on the cross.
I don't give a shit if some guy died on a stick. I care about a God. Where's your evidence of God?
Okay, so would somebody raising himself from the dead not be God?
Where's your evidence of this raising from the dead?
Okay, so I'll get into that. There were 12 apostles that he had and more who followed him, yet they all would have died for a quote-unquote lie. That's something that many people believe. So what would they
where in the Bible does it say they died for Jesus?
They died because they were being persecuted.
Where does it say that in the Bible?
Here, I'll bring it up right now.
Yeah, please give us the verse because it doesn't exist. But
Okay,
more
one second.
importantly, even if you could find a verse, which you can't, people died for all kinds of things in the past. The Mayans died for their gods. The Mayans were crazy. They literally all did all kinds of crazy things, and because of their god, their belief in their gods. People's convictions can make them do silly things.
The difference is that when the Mayans died for their gods, that was their quote-unquote God asking them to die for him. It wasn't them just dying because of persecution.
Yeah, the point is your belief.
The
You believe
apostles weren't
and you
asked.
do bad things. The point
The
is your
apostles,
belief can convict you to do certain things.
okay, the apostles weren't asked to die for God. They chose to die because of the persecution from others. That is a very different situation.
There is no evidence that the apostles died for God or Jesus. There's no evidence of that. Can you cite the source for that?
Wait, say that again?
There is no source that says the apostles died for Jesus or they were persecuted.
Dear, you keep speaking while I pull up the evidence because I don't have time to keep going back and forth. So I'm gonna pull it up right now. You keep going.
How about this? Come back when you actually have the verse. Okay?
Sounds
good. And that'll be never because there is no verse.
What's up, man?
How old are you?
18.
What do you got?
So, I don't really have an argument for it. I just wanted to ask you, like, why wouldn't you go believing in God?
Because it's stupid. Next. Hello? Hello? How are these guests real people? I don't know. I get the best guest every night.
Hello.
Hey, what do you
Yo.
got?
So why do you think God is imaginary?
There's no evidence. What is your evidence?
Just because there's no evidence at all.
Yeah, there's no evidence, and,
Okay.
and every argument you
let
guys
me
give,
let me
every time you
okay.
guys come up here, you fail at giving good arguments. That's why.
Okay, let me break this down to you. So if God is, as what people say, is positivity, for example, you're around mid-20s, maybe probably late 30s, I don't know. Okay. You're sitting in your room
Sir,
on
please
TikTok.
give us an
Wait,
argument for God. Sir,
you are
give us an
sitting,
argument. Give
I'm
us an
giving you
argument.
an argument. Like, you're not even letting people speak.
Just
Okay.
don't talk about me giving evidence
I'm
for God.
trying to, but you're not letting me speak. Can I speak? Thank you.
And no,
Okay.
don't
So,
just speak. Give an argument. What is the argument?
so let me speak. Like, okay.
Well, give the argument.
Okay. So you're sitting in your room.
Nope. Give an argument. Sitting in my room is not evidence of a God. There's no way it could be evidence of a God. You just want to sit there and go, "Oh, you're crazy, or you're a crazy atheist." I'm sorry. There's a reason
Hey, what's
why.
going on, man?
What do you got?
How you doing? Okay, or not be friendly. That's cool. So I just got a
Hurry up.
question.
Let's
Like,
go.
so why don't you believe in God?
There's no fucking evidence of a God. Now give us your evidence or go
So
away.
there's no evidence. So you're an atheist, correct? You don't believe in anything?
No shit,
You don't
Sherlock. Now give us evidence for your magic space daddy.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Jesus is returning, so be ready, buddy.
Oh, yeah. When
God
is
is
he gonna-
returning.
What?
God is returning. God
They
even tells us
said
in the
that
Bible,
last
not
year.
everybody will believe on him.
Look at how pathetic they sound. He's returning. He's returning. He's returning. Every year they say the same shit. Last year, he's returning. Last year, he was supposed to return last week. He was supposed to return last decade. Remember 2011, 2012? We survived all the Jesus returns. We survived them all. Every year. But every year, they go away. They never actually work. They just update the dates. They just, oh, I'm sorry, we got it wrong. It's coming back next year, actually. It's next October. Yeah, trust me. Find Jesus? Okay, where? Under my bed? On like in my belly button? Like where is he? Like It's on God TV. Love? He's watching. He's always watching.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
What's your argument?
So I wanted to say that God is imaginary because we don't know that He exists, but we have to imagine that He exists.
No, we can't imagine stuff that don't exist.
Okay, let me just say something.
How old are you?
That's not the point.
That's not the point. Don't ask me that question.
Yo, Mike.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What do you got?
I've just got a question for you, to be honest. Do you believe there's a difference between the consciousness of humans and the consciousness of animals and everything else?
Yeah, I believe that there are degrees of consciousness. But what's your point?
Why do you think humans are different than every other animal?
Every animal is different than every other animal, right? It applies to every single animal. We're just a little bit different in terms of our awareness because we evolved to be this way. We evolved to be this way because we had to survive leaving Africa. We had to survive different habitats, different water sources, food sources. We had to become smarter to survive.
You're an intelligent thinker. You're an intelligent thinker for sure. But I just want to say that I believe humans were made in God's image, and that's why I believe we built this.
I don't give a shit what you believe, sir. I want evidence or go away.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah. See, every time we press these guys, they never give an answer. They never give actual evidence. That's what I'm after. Anybody can believe, but I want to know. Anybody can believe. What's the truth, though? And how do you know the truth? What's the evidence for the truth?
Yo, you can hear me?
Unfortunately, what you got?
Okay. So you looking for evidence, right? That there's a God?
Right.
Okay. How about statistical facts? Like if we was 2% closer to the sun, right? We wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Because all the
No, I
water
don't.
would evaporate. If we were 2% further away from the sun,
do you know
we would not exist. We'll freeze over. Our planet will be uninhabitable. I'm giving you an example, but you want to go ahead and interrupt me, so go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk.
Yeah, this is why I'm interrupting because you're wrong, right?
I'm wrong? Okay, go ahead, tell me why I'm wrong.
Sure. The Earth's orbit varies by 2 to 3% every year. Between the winter and the summer.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Orbit
Now,
closer.
let me interrupt you because you're wrong.
The amount
Give
of
me the
distance
proof of
between
that.
the Earth and the sun
Where's
has
the
no
proof of
bearing
that?
on our
It
existence.
sounds like it's coming out your ass right now. Where's the proof of that? Yeah,
it's called the perihelion and aphelion. It's called geology.
Geology?
Geometry. Yes.
Oh, geometry. Geometry? Oh, okay, geometry. Hey, yes. You know what? Let me ask you a question, dog. Apart from that, at what age did you get touched by another man?
Wow.
At what age did another man touch you?
Is this the Christian love they talk about so much? Jesus loves you. Jesus. We're supposed to be kind people. We're so kind. We love everybody. We're all God's children. That's not love. That's garbage. Next. You're all fakes and phonies. All fakes. All one of you guys. Every one of you guys.
Hello, what's happening? So the question is, God is imaginary. So the proof is within thousands and thousands of years of like how the Bible and that is all around. Am I wrong? Do you think think the Bible is wrong?
We have the Vesta, the Bhagavad Gita, all these.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying God. You're not mentioning. So you say God. You're not mentioning a certain or specific God, which means like it can stand for any God. So there's 1,000. Well, I'm guessing
they're all gods are not real. So what's your evidence for your God?
So you're saying every single God out there is not real?
There are no gods that exist There's no evidence for any
So
gods.
so even the evidence in paper.
How is a story evidence of a god?
Because a story comes off something which is facts, or it can come off with something that's not facts, but majority of the time can be facts.
So how do we know that the Bible or the Quran is true facts?
How long has it been around for?
Why does that matter?
Why does it matter? Because if it's been around for the hell of a long, like, I understand if it's been made in the last 20 years, and then you're like,
Sir, are you Christian or are you Christian or Muslim?
No, I'm not Christian or Muslim, but I
What
believe
are you?
there's something.
What do you mean something? I believe there's something too. But
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
you mean?
something as in a certain like God, so a certain God. I don't.
Great. So what's your evidence of this?
What's my evidence of me believing in my certain God?
What's your evidence of a God, sir?
I've just said all the evidence is in the Bible and within pages and pages of different other
So you're a
gods.
Christian. So you are a Christian.
That doesn't make me a Christian, but just because like the Bible has been around for a hell of a long time.
Okay. How about the Vesta, which predates the Bible and has been here for thousands and more years? Does that mean the Vesta is true and the Zoroastrian God is real?
It's a possibility. Just because you can.
So
just
what you're
'cause you
doing.
turn-
So what you're doing is picking and choosing whatever God you want to, because for the
But it's
fun
not.
of
It's
it.
not picking and choosing. It's not picking and choosing.
So
I
then
just said
how-
in general.
So then how do you know that yours is the true one?
I'm not saying mine because I don't believe in any. I'm saying gods in general. Like if there's information about these gods that have been around for a hell of a long time.
There's information about Zeus and Thor and Spider-Man and Batman. It doesn't make them real. Just because people pass down stories does not mean God exists. I'm sorry. We need more than just a story. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
I have 2 points. One is evolution. There's no proof of bones that we evolved from Homo sapiens or chimpanzees. There's skulls underneath the Arctic ice. So that whole evolution thing where we slowly changed into man from chimpanzee or something.
Okay. What do you think evolution is, sir? Let's hear this.
Well, we evolve into being stupid. That's what we do.
No, sir. What is your definition of evolution? Let's hear it. I'd love to hear this.
No, when people try to teach you in college about
No, sir. Please answer the question. What is your definition of evolution?
My definition of evolution is going from a monkey type of animal to a human type of animal.
No, this isn't Pokemon, sir. That's not evolution. You're incorrect. Let me educate you real quick. Evolution is the genetic mutations that occur over generations. And we observe
We have
this
no
in our
proof.
DNA.
There's no bones.
No, you're not going to talk. You're going to let me speak because you're wrong. Evolution is evidenced by things like DNA. We can observe chromosomal fusions. We can observe genetic mutations in our DNA. This is direct proof that we have evolved from recent ancestors. We also have fossil homology, analogous structures that we can date in the geological strata or the soil. And what we can find is small incremental changes over long periods of time. It's not that we evolved from monkeys. We share common ancestors with monkeys millions of years ago. And over time, small changes build up to become vast differences in species. That's what evolution means. It's not monkey to person. It's not turtle to rabbit. It's not, it's not Pokemon. It's small changes over time. Now, please give evidence of a God, because even if evolution was false, it doesn't mean God exists.
That's one point, but I still think that there's no evidence, as you say, fossils. That's my one point. You say there's.
We have thousands of fossils, sir. We have Australopithecus. We have Homo
You go to a
erectus.
museum, there's no
Homo erectus.
fossils. You go to a museum, there's no fossils standing there.
Yes, there are fossils in museums, sir. There are fossils in the museums. And by the way,
there's a
we also have
Neanderthal
fossils
man
in
there.
labs.
There's a Neanderthal skeleton there.
That's a fossil.
I don't see those in the museum, but that's my one point.
So just because you've never been to a science lab, that means no fossils exist?
A science lab? They found one little monkey thing that they say looks like
No,
a
no,
human.
sir. We have thousands of traditional species. We
Okay,
have thousands of human species before
I'm
us.
glad you made your
Examples
point.
of it.
I'm glad you made your point. My other point is that
You
finally,
didn't have
after
one. You
200
didn't have one
years,
point. You didn't have one point.
okay, after 200 years, finally, spiritualists, physicists, scientists have all joining hands to say that there's an H factor, there's a God factor. The centrifuge that moves where they take two elements and separate them and they act the same. There's something that's
Oh my gosh! You're
yeah.
talking
Well,
about
it's
entanglement,
well, you
sir.
don't
This,
listen to
this is utter.
physicists.
This is atrocious. This
Can
is
you let me
atrocious, sir.
finish?
No, because you're wrong, and you're not going to misinform people. There is nothing supernatural about quantum mechanics. Yes, it's mysterious, but so is your mom, and so is many things in the universe. Just because something's mysterious doesn't mean that God did it. And more importantly, there can be a natural reason why quantum mechanics works the way it does. It does not have to be a God. So please give us actual evidence of a God and not just God of the gaps, where every gap in our knowledge, you're going to fill it with God. As if God's some kind of like filler. Like wherever you don't know something, you just put God in there. That's not how this works. Give us evidence or go away. Please, hurry up.
When you say God, that's one thing. But when you say there's another factor involved, that there's the like the
Okay,
gentleman.
have a good day, sir. You obviously can't track with the argument. Have a good day. Next victim. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate it. Yes. Thank you. Jesus is king. He's king of non-existence. He's king of social distancing. He hasn't returned in thousands of years. He shows up, he pretends to die in a stick. He's like, yeah, I win. And then he dies and he floats up to heaven like a balloon. All right, guys, bye-bye. Now he thinks he's the king of the world for thousands of years. Hello? Okay. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, okay, perfect. I feel like my point is, I feel like you and a lot of the people in here, not even just you, have missed the mark with the religion. I feel like it's not about, believing that God made everything. I believe
Do you have an argument for your God or no?
my argument is God teaches you how to be a better person, and he gives you something to believe in after death. Our brains cannot comprehend what happens after death. There's no way of us knowing.
That doesn't mean God exists. But more importantly, the Bible, for example, in the Quran, do not teach you how to be a good person at all. There are many disgusting things in the stories. They teach you how to own slaves. How is that good? Don't
The Ten
pretend as if
Commandments
the
give you a
Bible or
very
the
great
Quran.
base on how to live a proper life.
Don't pretend the Quran or the Bible are good. They're not good books. They're not morally good at all. They are atrocious.
Clear. It's been translated and aged over time, so there are going to be points that have missed the mark.
We know that both of these stories allow you to, essay and do all kinds of bad things to people. Those books allow you to do that. That's disgusting. And by the way, I could be a good person without religion. In fact, I'm a better person because I'm not religious.
Well, not everyone is you. All right. Well, most people, if you follow the base 10 commandments,
I know that. That's not irrelevant, sir. The point is that religion is not required to be a good person.
It's not required, no. But
great. So where's your evidence for God?
For me, it's just it gives you a belief after death. We can't.
So does Magic Unicorn. So does Zeus. So does Spider-Man. So does Batman. So does Avatar. It doesn't matter. We need evidence, not beliefs. Keep liking it up, guys. Keep tapping. Hey, what do you got?
So, what makes you not believing in God if you feel he's imaginary? Because there's no proof. Like, what proof are you looking for? Because you're asking for something from people from 2023 for stuff that happens a long time ago. And I'm not mad. You?
Give us any evidence of your God. Any.
How he saved my life.
Did he help you find a parking spot?
Man, you are arrogant, sir, but no, that's not how he saved
Oh,
my
the,
life.
the one who thinks the entire universe was made for them and that their magic
No,
wizard
I
is the
didn't
one
say that.
helping them is
I
calling me
didn't say that.
arrogant? I'm sorry, sir, but give us your evidence or go away. This is
Give me
embarrassing.
your evidence that God doesn't exist. How about that?
Sure. Is God all good?
Nobody's all good.
Is God all good, sir?
God is perfect.
Okay, great. So then why is there evil in the world if God's perfect?
That's man does that, like people like you
Okay.
that don't believe in him, that have
Okay,
the
great.
devil in
So
their
why couldn't God just make us perfect such that we never sin?
We are perfect. There's people like you that have sin in their mind because
If
you're an
I'm
evil
perfect,
person.
is sin perfect?
You are evil, not God.
Sir, is evil or sin perfect?
You're not perfect because you have sin in you.
Okay, great. So did God make us perfect or no?
You have a choice to be towards him and you have none in you. You
Sir,
have to have
did you
God
answer
in
the
you, sir.
question? Did God make me
You
perfect?
go away,
or
sir.
not?
Stop doing this live. Stop trying to tell Christian people that
he's
God doesn't
scared.
exist.
He's
Oh, you're
scared that the
crying
room
now.
is gonna
Oh,
go
God.
away.
You're
Oh
you're an atheist. Oh, you don't
no,
believe in
not
nothing.
my belief in God.
So what do you think happens when you die, bro?
You rot away and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Cry about it. But let's
I'm
stop
not.
believing in things that don't make any sense.
Okay,
Let's
wait.
stop enacting laws
I'm so
based on
happy
these
you
dumb
said
beliefs.
that. I'm so happy you said that. Go cry about it. Why would you care if somebody believes in God or not?
Because it can go infiltrate law and regulation in our society. You can use your belief in God to enact laws to take away my rights, LGBT rights. You can take away, because you think it's
What
a
is
sin to be gay, right?
LGBT?
So you can
What
take
is
away our rights.
LGBT?
You can
What
take
is
away abortion rights.
LGBT?
You can take away science education in school. You can take away critical thinking skills. Like
You believe
you
in
see it currently
science.
with you. Religion
You
takes
you
away all
believe.
kinds of rationality from people. And you're a prime
How do
example
you
of it.
believe? How do you believe you became to existence, sir?
We didn't come to exist. We evolved through time, and that's a fact. And there's no reason or evidence to believe in God at all.
And what is your definition of evolve, sir?
Genetic mutations over time.
Genetic mutations over time. You're saying we
It's basic
evolved
biology, sir.
from what, sir? What proof do you have of that?
Oh, sure.
Prove me.
It's called chromosomal fusions, genetic mutations, fossil
And where did you
homology,
learn this
molecular
from?
homology, lab experiments.
And
We
where
have
did you learn
entire
this from?
we have entire droves of data that demonstrate evolution's a fact. Just because you don't understand
Do you
science
think
doesn't mean
those
it's
people?
false.
Do you think those people are Christians? Those scientists?
I don't give a shit. Science
What do
works
you give a shit
independently
about?
of their belief.
Are you married, sir? Do you have children? Don't disconnect me.
I'm
Don't
married to your
disconnect
mom,
me.
sir. I'm married to your mom. Hey, what do you got?
Hey, so say you have proof that God doesn't exist.
Sure, we do. Is your God all loving?
It doesn't matter what my God is. I'm trying to say.
I'm
You're
trying to
saying you
debunk
have,
your God, though. I'm trying to point out a logical inconsistency in your worldview. So,
well,
is your God all good?
what's your definition of God?
It depends on yours.
I
To me, God
don't
is a
have a
personal.
definition of
To me,
God.
God is a personal supreme being. But I can't debunk every single God. I can debunk specific gods if they're logically inconsistent.
Oh, okay, cool. So, personal. What'd you say? Personal supreme being?
Yeah. Now, what is your God?
Like I said, I don't have a God. I believe in a higher power. I'm not a specific.
What's the higher
religion.
power? What's the higher power?
There's no. Bro, I could sit up here and say, prove the flying spaghetti monster is real. No one's gonna come on here and prove that to
I'm
me.
not asking you to prove God. I'm asking you for any good reason or argumentation for God. Number one, and more importantly, it doesn't matter
So,
what kind of God you believe in.
so I'm not coming on here to prove that. I'm coming on here to ask you. You said you have proof that God is not real. So
no, I don't. I never said that. Well, when it
you
comes to
just said it.
specific gods, yes. So that's why I asked you what kind of God you believe in. Because if depending on the God you believe, I could debunk it.
So you're just debunking religions. You're not debunking like higher power or
Oh my gosh, sir.
interconnectedness.
Higher. Well, I don't know what a higher power is. some definitions are incoherent or ill-defined.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say is my definition of God is higher power.
What's a higher power? What's that? Like a rocket ship?
Something beyond logic. You're trying to understand the universe.
That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean
logic,
beyond
right?
logic? We don't know what that means.
So how can nothing come from nothing?
I never said it did. I don't even know what nothing is.
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Of course not. That's what I'm trying to
So
understand.
then why even bring it up? What
I
is
haven't
your
heard, I
what
haven't heard
is your
anybody
belief,
ask you this
sir?
question.
Do you even know what you believe?
No. That's what I'm saying to you right now.
Have a good day, sir. Guys, this is why I'm here, because we should, instead of just believing blindly, let's actually look at what we understand. Let's look at the data and let's look at what we believe and why. Hello?
Hello. Hey, hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
Hey, man. No, I'm not here to argue, man. I'm just here to talk to you.
No, you're going to give an argument for God or you're going to go away. Hurry up.
Yeah. Okay. Here it goes. I believe in God. You know, you don't, and it's cool. I respect.
It's not an argument, sir. That's called monologue. An argument is where you have logical premises, and a conclusion that follows from the premises. That's logic. That's arguments. Not, oh, you believe in God, and if you don't, it's okay. No, it's not okay if you believe in God. In our world, your belief in God can influence my life for that reason.
You can hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, so you just said that you said that you got scientists that have proven the fact that how we evolved as people. So I mean my point of view to that is that you put people on this earth, however I believe we got here, somebody's gonna try to find out how we got here. So that's just, of course, they're confused how we are confused. So really they're gonna put something together.
Sir, do you have a fucking argument for your magic sky daddy or not?
We're having an argument right now. I'm proving your point. It's the same. It's the same
You're
thing.
proving to us that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, sir. Do you have an argument for your magic space daddy or not? What's the argument? What are the premises?
What do you mean by argument? My points?
All right, have a good day. Guys, if you can't come up and not give an argument, if you don't even know what an argument is, if you don't even know what evidence is, you can't debate. You just can't debate.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, so space and like all the matter is made up of vibrating wavelengths. That is frequency. Everything is made up of frequency.
No, that's not scientific at all.
The matter, yeah, because it's the same thing with the Big Bang. Everything came together and exploded, and it
No, that's not the Big Bang. Oh my gosh, sir, you're so fucking confused. The Big Bang. Let me educate you. Let me educate you real quick.
Right,
the Big Bang was the expansion of pre-existing space-time. You have space and time, and it expands. The Big Bang has no bearing on the beginning of the universe. It just says that there was a universe that was small, hot, and dense, and then it expanded into a cold, larger, and less dense universe. That's all the Big Bang means. And there's no implication of God exists through the Big Bang or through any science.
Yeah,
You
let me
can't
get
science of God.
So I think it was Einstein that space is like if you put a ball in it, everything starts to it's like a cloth, a piece of cloth, and everything starts to rotate around it. So
A fabric. Yeah.
So that fabric is made up of thread being the wavelengths.
It's not an actual fabric. It's not like an actual linen for a table.
You can't
It's
see it.
It's a metaphorical. It's a hypothetical fabric. It's not actually like a dinner table fabric.
In Genesis, God said He spoke the earth and everything in it, and everything.
In Numbers 22, in Numbers 22, it says donkeys can talk. What's your fucking point? The Bible's garbage.
Point is, like, you gotta do research.
Oh, how ironic. The one who doesn't understand the Big Bang or evolution is telling me to research. Sir, you haven't even given us an argument for God yet. You're just rambling.
Well, I've tried to, but I keep getting interrupted.
Let's hear it, buddy. You have the floor. Give us your argument for your magic space deck.
That was my argument. That was my argument. And like, I ain't mad or nothing.
That was your argument? Strings?
Yeah, buddy.
There's little strings everywhere. That means God's real. That's your argument?
Yeah, buddy.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm praying for the strings. I'm praying that you get more strings in your life. I can feel the strings. They're all around us. Ooh, the strings. They're finding parking spots. They're finding parking spots for us. They're finding our car keys. They're turning people's eyes black. They're all around us. Okay. Keep tapping, guys. Let's get to 100K likes.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
How old are you?
14.
Okay. Enjoy Barney, sir. Enjoy Sesame Street. I think it's on right now. Pray forever. Pray forever. And nothing happens. But let's pretend it does. Hello?
Hey, oh my gosh, so everyone, so I've still been trying to get this guy to disprove these people, and guess what? We're still waiting to get disproved. No one's still proved him wrong because God is imaginary. It has been months and months now, and yet no one's still proved him right.
She was kind of weird, but didn't understand the point really, but okay. Let's have the next victim. God is within. Where is he? In my intestines? Is he my shit? God is
Hey,
shit. Hey, what do you got?
Hey, man. So yeah, I believe in a God. My question, I guess, for you would be, where does morality come from? Where do I get punished by society for crimes against other people? The way I treat people, like bullying in school. Where does that come from?
The brain. So we know that the brain is what generates our sense of right or wrong. It's the limbic system, right? We have empathy for other people. That is something our brain does. And when we live in societies, we can establish certain rules or laws that we want to abide by. And if somebody defies those laws, we punish them. It's that simple. You don't need God for morality. We can ground morality in our minds.
Okay, so in regards to the dark side, then, saying you don't believe in God, do you believe in the devil?
No. Now, do you have an argument for your magic God or not?
Well, I do, in that you saying that he is imaginary. I want to know, why is my God imaginary? What is your proof to make him imaginary?
It's too dumb to exist, sir. No intelligent God would ever design allergies. Your God there's no evidence for your God, and there's no reason to believe it.
When God created the world, it was perfect, right? Before the fall of man. And as a result of the fall of man, you talk about evolution, man. We're not getting better. We're not getting better. We're getting sicker.
Evolution does not mean
right?
get better. That's ridiculous. This isn't Pokemon. So
To evolve into something better.
Sir,
we
hold on. You said
Sure.
something. You said something peculiar in the first thing. You said that God made everything perfect. Then why did we fuck up if it was perfect? Perfect beings cannot make mistakes. So how
Because we had free will, we had free choice, right?
Okay,
We had a choice. And Adam and Eve.
Okay, hold on. Does
Yep.
God have free will?
Does God have free will? Well, yeah, he is the creator of will, of everything.
Now, does God ever make a mistake?
No.
Why? Why not?
Because he's the creator.
And he's perfect, right? He's perfect?
Correct.
Great. So why couldn't God just make us perfect such that we never make mistakes? Even with our free will.
See, that's the $1,000,000 question, because
No, it's not a $1 million
at one
question. It's
time,
a $1 question. Because it doesn't make sense for God to make a universe where he could have made one where we don't have any
but we were perfect, okay? We were perfect. And Adam and Eve were tempted by the devil, who also at one time
It
was an
doesn't matter
angel
if
in
you're
heaven.
tempted, sir. Listen, if you're perfect with free will, you will always choose the good option. You'll never choose a wrong option. Perfect beings can't make mistakes. So if God is perfect, right, and never chooses a mistake or never does wrong, well, why can't we be perfect such that we never do wrong too? Why didn't God make a world where we have free will and yet there's no evil? Why didn't God do that?
Well, there was at one time
No, you
a
can't say
perfect
one
world.
time, sir. If you're perfect, there's nothing that can make you imperfect. You're perfect by definition. You'll always make the right choice.
I don't think being perfect and makes you make the right decision when you have free will. Free will is free will, right?
Okay, great. So why doesn't God ever choose any evil if he's perfect?
Because he is pure. He can't be
Okay,
in the
great. So why didn't God make us pure such that we never make mistakes?
Okay, we were perfect, right? God
Sir,
gave God,
the point
but
is this,
listen,
sir.
God,
You're not understanding. You're not understanding. The same logic you use for God, we can just use for people. We can say, well, God could have made a world where he has free will and he never does a mistake. He never makes mistakes. Just like we could have been in a world where we have free will and never make mistakes. It's the same thing. We could have been that way, but instead God chose us to make mistakes. He chose that we become evil. He chose a world where we become evil. Why?
he never chose, right? We are his creation.
Did he choose to make us?
He right, and he gave us the ability to obviously reproduce, right, and have children of our own,
Sir,
and
please,
keep.
can you track with the argument? We can track with the argument. Could God have made us pure or perfect in a way that we never make a mistake? Could
Sure,
God
he
have?
could have. He could
Okay,
have, but he didn't. Right?
great. So
He gave us free
this is the
will.
problem of evil. So you just conceded that God did not have to make evil.
Wouldn't it be more evil if God didn't give us free will? Wouldn't that be more evil?
No, it
If
wouldn't.
God said,
No,
you don't have a choice.
we have
You are going
free
to be like
will.
this.
You Christians use all the time. We have free will. It's just that we are good natured or perfect such that we never make mistakes. You're not getting it. Free will is still intact. It's just that we always choose the good thing, the good option. Just like God. That's the point. If God has free will and never makes mistakes, so can we.
So you're saying that we can be perfect.
You said that. In fact, you said
No,
we
I
were
said
perfect.
we were at one time before we fell, right?
So
Before
then
we stepped out of,
how does a perfect
before we,
being make a mistake?
I don't know. It's free will, right? There was a choice. You could
No,
choose this, A or B.
even with free will, you would still be perfect such that you always choose the right option. You can never make a mistake, even with free will.
Like, let me ask you something. If
No,
you were,
no. Stay on track with the argument, sir.
I am.
If
I'm
we're
just giving you a
perfect,
parallel, okay?
do you agree that if we were perfect, we could never make a mistake? Yes or no?
I don't agree with that because of free will. Like, having a choice doesn't make you imperfect, right? You
Okay.
can be, you can be the, you can,
Let me try this one more time for you. Is
hey, I'm trying to give you, I'm
does
trying to give
God
you a parallel. I
does
understand your question.
let
I
me do this one
understand
more
your
time. Let
question.
me do this one more time for you. Does God have
All
free
right.
will? Does God have free will?
Yes, he has no bounds.
Can God ever make a mistake?
No,
Why not?
because he is the omnipotent one. He is the creator. He is the all and end all and be all. There's no choice for him to make, no right or wrong. He is without sin. He is without
Why not? Why
imperfection
can't he sin? What stops him from sinning?
because he's perfect.
Bingo! So God could have made us perfect such that we never sin. And with free will.
No. How can somebody have free will? Dude, if you're like, let's say, the fittest person in the world, and you have an option, listen, and you have an option to choose, healthy vegetables that are going to do things for your body that are beneficial, or you can have a choice to go to McDonald's, and you choose McDonald's. Does that mean that you're not a healthy person because you went to McDonald's?
That's not analogous at all. What I'm saying is, if we are perfect, we would never make a mistake, because by definition, perfect beings have no flaws. They can't make a mistake, and no temptation would stop them from would make them make a mistake. Because even with all the temptation around them, they would still choose the right option because they're perfect. So again, the last time, why did God make a world?
Now, in that regard, that's the testimony of Jesus. You hit the nail on the head, man. Okay, Jesus was perfect. He came to earth.
Okay, great. Are we perfect?
He had a choice. He had a choice to not take up his Father's will and die on the cross.
Sir, was I born perfect?
No, you aren't.
Okay, then God made me imperfect.
You were born into a sinful nature, and you hit an age of accountability.
So what you're saying is God. So what you're saying is God designed me to be evil. I didn't choose to be sin. I didn't choose to sin there.
He didn't design you that way.
So what you're saying is
He designed you. He designed you with free will. He designed you with free will.
But
I mean, if our defense when we stand before.
Listen, God forced me into sin. Did he not?
That's the murderer saying God forced me into this because I wasn't born perfect. That's why I went and blew away that lady and stole her purse.
You have contradicted yourself 17 times today. Did God make us perfect? Yes or no?
Me and you, no. Adam and Eve, yes.
Okay. So Adam and Eve were perfect, right?
They were.
Okay, great. So why did they make a mistake if they're perfect?
Because they ate from the tree of good and evil. The knowledge of good and evil.
Okay. So what you're saying is a perfect being made a mistake.
Made a choice.
Yeah, a perfect being will always make the perfect choice, right?
It wasn't the perfect choice. It was a choice.
But by definition, a perfect being will always make the perfect choice, right? Just like God.
But they didn't know what the consequences were prior to them making their choice.
It doesn't
matter. They were deceived.
It doesn't matter.
They were deceived.
A perfect being will always make the perfect choice by definition.
How can a perfect being make a perfect choice if they don't know what the outcome of the choice is? If they've never been down that road before, never encountered that situation, how are they to know infinitely?
Why would they need to know the future? Why would they need to know? By definition, their nature decides that. Their nature determines that they make the right choice, no matter if they know about the future or not.
Okay, so what is perfect in life, sir? What do you look at that's perfect?
Nothing. They're perfect. Perfection doesn't fucking exist. That's another problem with your point, right? Perfection's garbage. It doesn't actually exist. It's a relative term. But more importantly, you haven't presented any actual evidence of God, and what I presented was a problem of evil. This is just the wedding of your. It's just the beginning of the problems with your belief in God. We can take a look at divine hiddenness. We can take a look at the omni-paradoxes, the free will and omniscience paradox. We can take a look at many paradoxes in your God. This is just the first one that you can't.
Okay, but you believe in evolution.
Do you know what evolution is?
I'm asking, do you believe in evolution?
It's a fact.
It's a fact. Okay, so we came from primordial soup and eventually into monkeys, and then over time
Yeah.
we are where we are.
So evolution is not saying anything about abiogenesis. So that you obviously don't know what evolution means.
I don't care if you're talking macro or micro, okay? But you
It's the
believe that
same
we
thing.
came
Oh
from
my God.
basically nothing.
Sir, do you know what evolution means?
Yes.
What is it?
It's evolving into something better, right?
No.
Over time.
See,
Over
no,
time you get better.
this is why you people are incredibly embarrassing. You come up here.
Well, how did we go from a speck? How did we go from a speck to
Have a good day. You don't even know what evolution is, sir. You have no place debating me. Evolution's a fact. We can observe it. And it doesn't say that anything about abiogenesis. What it says is genetics changes over time. That's something we observe. And when it comes to abiogenesis, yes, we are made of chemicals. Every one of us are made of chemical molecules. And what we know is that in the long historic past, basic things like amino acids, proteins, lipids, phosphates became more complex through time in something called chemical evolution and abiogenesis. And that's how we got here. It's not by God. It's not by Adam and Eve. That's all garbage. We evolved, and that's a fact. The evidence of evolution is in our DNA, in the fossil records, and in lab experiments. It's proven.
Hello. I agree with you to a certain extent. I'm agnostic. I don't really believe that any religion is more right than it is wrong. I think that everyone is entitled to their own.
I don't give a shit about your opinions. I care about the facts. Give me evidence or go away. Hey, what do you got?
Okay. So what I'm saying is like, I feel.
Hey, what do you got?
God is everywhere, man.
Wow, I think I see him. He's in the trees. He's in my shit.
You gotta repent, man.
Okay. I'm sorry, God, for my sins. I'm sorry, I was born into it. It wasn't my fault, but let me pray so that I can worship you forever like a good little slave.
Look, man, don't you have you ever looked at the Bible and just read
That's why I'm an
a
atheist.
script?
The Bible is what made me an atheist. Have you seen the Bible for yourself, sir?
Yeah,
Talking
I've read
snakes,
it.
talking donkeys, dragons, wizards, giants, demons. It's
It's
nonsense.
ancient history.
It's not history. It's ancient folklore and mythology at best. You have a story of garbage. Give me evidence of God or go away.
Well, no, I'm just playing. I don't believe in that, man.
Okay, great. Have a good day. What are you, Mr. Krabs? Next.
You want scientific evidence?
Sure.
So look at the scientific law of causality. Have you heard of it?
No,
Well, let me
never
define
heard
it
of
for you.
causality before.
Everything needs a cause. It's a scientific law. Everything needs a cause.
No, it's
And
not.
in the law of causality.
No. There is no such law.
There is. It is a scientific law.
Where
I
is
can
it?
literally
Where's your
Google it
source
right
for
now.
that?
It's on there.
Where's your source for the law of causality in science?
The internet. You can look it up. It's there.
Sir, I could look up UFOs and fucking like giants and fucking flat Earth on internet. I'm asking for a source.
There's a difference between UFOs and a scientific law. It is
Great. So
defined
give
as
us
a law.
a source for a scientific law of causality.
The internet. It's on the internet. It's there. You can look it up.
Do you believe everything on the internet, sir?
I believe what is considered a scientific law by many
So
different
where's your
doctors
source?
and
Do you know what
physicists.
science means? Do you know what science means?
I am aware.
Great. So you should know that science is falsifiable by nature. Hence, you should have reasons and sources behind your claim. Where is it? Where's your
What
source?
doesn't need a cause? What reaction does not have a cause?
Causality, I agree, is an emergent property of nature. However, There is no law of causality that says everything must have a cause. Causality is something that happens within the confines of our space-time. It is not applied to the universe itself. The universe itself may be always in existence, and causality is an emergent phenomenon that happens within space and time. For example, motion is relative, time is relative. So we now know that the idea that the universe was caused by something, by one cause, that idea is no longer considered in science. Now we know that causality depends on your frame of reference. It depends on your velocity, your mass, your gravity. All these things affect how you perceive causality. So that's my point here.
All right. Well, the law of causality is cited by the American
By the way, sir, if everything has a cause, what caused God?
Well, for the law of causality, in the beginning, for there to be anything, there has to be something outside the dimensions, outside of physics. There has to be an intelligent being outside of space and time that is able to create.
No. That's not scientific at all, sir. Nobody said anything about an intelligent mind. That's hogwash. Give me actual evidence that God exists, not just your statements or claims. Evidence.
The evidence is creation itself.
And how do you know this is creation?
Due to the law of causality.
No. How do you know that this around us is created by somebody and not just nature?
Due to the odds of it being created. There's a higher percentage chance of something being out there creating the universe. I'm not saying Christianity. I'm not saying any religion. I'm saying something out there. Higher dimensional.
Sir, how did you determine this chance being higher?
Through mathematics.
Great. Where's the mathematics that demonstrates that creation is more probable than nature?
It's cited by multiple mathematicians.
Great. Give me a source.
I'll find it right now for you.
Better yet, come back when you actually have a source. I'm not going to sit here and waste time. Come back.
Will do.
There is no source, by the way. We don't know the probability of us existing or not. We don't know the probability of being created or not. Well, that's nonsense. All we know is that we exist. And for the extraordinary claims, you need extraordinary evidence. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? I got out and in, so I don't know if I have an echo or not.
What do you got?
Okay, I wanted to speak to what he was saying about the law of causality. So the Stanford Encyclopedia of Physiology and Plato are the sources for the law of causality. And in the law, he is correct in saying that.
No, ma'am. So that's in philosophy. That's a philosophical idea. That is not a scientific idea. So
okay, I didn't say scientific. I didn't say scientific.
Great, but he did.
But I'm saying you asked for sources. You asked for sources. I think that Stanford is a pretty solid source. Given,
man. You're not understanding.
Can you let me finish a sentence?
Man.
Can you let me?
No. Science is not the same thing as philosophy. Philosophy, there is all kinds of things in philosophy that make no sense in science. Right? Solipsism, all these different ideas, idealism, all those things make no sense in science. Causality is one of them. So is the A theory of time. It makes no sense in science. Some philosophical ideas we now know are garbage, especially from people like Plato and Aristotle, who got science completely wrong. It's not their fault. It's just they came before science. The point is that even if there was causality, it doesn't mean that it applies to the universe, and it doesn't mean it applies to a magic being. We don't know if there was a cause. There doesn't have to be a cause. And if there was, it doesn't mean it's God. We need more evidence. You can't just say there's a cause, therefore God. That's God of the gaps. Nobody's losing. You just don't like what I'm saying. You just don't understand what I'm saying. So you think I'm losing. But in actuality, I'm correct. There is no scientific law of causality, and there is no scientific evidence of a God. Someone said 24 hours is all I have.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right. I just want to start out by saying, how can you prove he's not real?
I'm not saying I can prove he's not real, sir. What I'm saying is there's no reason to believe in a God. And that's all I'm saying here. Now we can take a look at things like divine hiddenness. We can take a look at things like problem of evil, the lack of evidence. We can take a look at things like the omniparadoxes. We can debunk God that way. So if you want me to debunk your God, I can. But the main idea is that there's no evidence of a God at all. Do you have any?
I do not. I was just curious if you had evidence.
Yes, I just explained to you the reasons why I don't believe in God. Those are the justifications. Logical inconsistencies, lack of evidence. These are good reasons to not believe. Hello?
Hello, hello.
What do you got?
Are you a science teacher, sir?
Have I looked into DNA? Yeah, there's no sign of God there. If God designed DNA, he did a
No.
shitty job.
Okay, so I'm on your side. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk. But I just want to say, like,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay. First thing first, I want to know what is the opposite of science?
Sir, what is your fucking evidence for your magic space daddy? Hurry up. You got 10 seconds or go away.
Huh?
Too late.
Can you hear me?
How old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, what's your evidence for God?
All right, so do you know how the universe was created?
Who said it was created?
Well, how did the universe begin?
Who said it began?
Exactly. There's no proof.
It could have always existed.
Right, but there's no proof. We have no factual evidence.
Yeah, that's why I don't
of
have
how the universe began.
That's why I'm
we have no
agnostic.
factual
I don't
evidence of
know.
how it's going to end.
Sir, I don't know. Nobody knows. What is your evidence of God?
Exactly. So the proof of God being real is equal to the proof of him not. It's all opinion.
No, this is called God of the gaps fallacy, sir.
Nope, it's literally opinion. So if you believe he's not real, it's equal to my
sir,
belief that he's real
stop,
because there's
sir.
no
Sir,
proof that it was created.
Stop. This is ridiculous. This is called God of the gaps. I don't know how the universe got here, therefore God. That's God of the gaps. You're right. Nobody knows how it got here. If it even did get here, it could have always existed. Then you don't need a God. But just simply saying, I don't know, therefore God, is a fallacy. Literally, an argument from ignorance. Please understand logic, guys. Please understand logic.
Hi, I just want to say, about the whole theory thing, there is, like, I'm kind of backing you up. Like, I'm so sorry, my dog. There's only theories of how the universe was created, and
Next. Keep tapping, guys. Let's get to 200,000 billion likes. Hey, what do you got? Hello? A lot of people in the comments are saying morality. Morality is evidence against a God. Your God is immoral. Your God is completely immoral. We can derive morality from our brains, from minds. We don't need God for morality whatsoever. Let alone the fact that your God is a moral monster.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Alright. So tell me why you don't think God's real.
There's no evidence. What do you got?
There is evidence.
Where?
Everywhere. Well, you're not going to see the evidence on your ceiling.
So where is it? You say it's everywhere.
Have you even looked at a religion before?
Yeah, that's why I'm a fucking atheist, because religions are garbage. What is your
Okay.
evidence for your sky daddy? Hurry
Okay.
up.
Okay. So what religion did you look into?
Sir, this isn't Dr. Phil. I'm asking you for arguments. If you don't have an argument, go away. This isn't a Q&A. This isn't Oprah. You can be agnostic and atheist at the same time, guys. I know you guys are all critical right now of me, but just realize that I'm correct. You don't need...
Yo.
What do you got?
You're talking about?
Yeah, what's your evidence for God?
Everything.
Okay, I'm looking at a ceiling fan, I'm looking at my pillows.
Yeah, a fan's a great
That's
example.
God? That's God?
A fan's a great example.
How?
Because it could go right and left, but not up and down. So if you think about it, that's evidence of God.
Okay, have a good day, sir. Take your medication. Don't skip out anymore.
Hello.
Hello? What do you got?
The evidence. All right. So to start, you told me that
How old are you? How old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2003. Just playing. I'm 2005. Relax.
Oh, well, don't play. See, come back later, but don't play. Because I'm literally trying to get to 1 million guests. What do you got?
How you doing? Doing all right tonight?
What is your evidence for your magic space wizard?
I don't have evidence. First of all, I want to talk about evolution.
Guys, evolution's a proven fact. There's no debate about evolution. It's a fact. If you're going to debate it, it means you don't understand it.
You should just fucking kill yourself, to be honest. I don't give a fuck what you say. You sound so fucking retarded. Oh my god.
Jesus. This is Jesus' children. I love Jesus. Jesus loves you. Let's all hold hands. Stop it, you phony people. Most loving theist, yeah. All you Christians are fake. You pretend you're great, but you're not. Hey, what do you got?
Can you hear me?
How old are you?
I am 29.
Great. What's your argument for God?
When I was younger, I was an atheist, so I could relate to your beliefs and stuff.
No, you can't. But go ahead. Let's hear it.
No, I mean, I used to believe there was nothing. I would look around and say this is just a simulation. But this was old thoughts.
That's not what I believe. That's not what I believe. So go ahead. Hurry up. You're embarrassing yourself right now. Let's hear your argument. Ma'am, we can't hear you.
Okay, I said I have a question. I'm sorry. It's just one question.
Hurry up.
Are you certain that God does not exist?
Depending on the God, yes.
Okay.
What?
I'm sorry. I must be cutting out from my internet. I'm saying, how would you know that there's no God?
Based on the logical inconsistencies embedded within his definition, the lack of evidence for it.
All right, but we do have 5 senses, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how would you think that these senses in our life, like how would they play? I don't know how we have senses.
It's called biology. Have you taken biology?
Well, yes, I have. Actually, I'm a biology major, but I'm saying our senses.
You're a biology major and you don't even know what senses are?
No, I'm telling you.
You don't know how nerve endings work? You don't know how nerve endings work?
But it comes from the brain, your brain. And so would you say that your brain is a computer?
Yes, the brain is what processes all your emotions and all your feelings and all your pain receptors and all these things. All your senses filter into the brain.
Okay, I understand. And my point is, if it's from the brain, there must have been something greater to create such a amazing machine for us to run our lives with, you know?
Oh yeah, tell that to like schizophrenics. Tell that to people who don't have those senses. To deaf people, blind people, people who don't have these senses. The idea that we're perfect or that there's some cosmic being making us this way is pathetic. We can take a look at physiology. We have allergies, pneumonia, cancers, mutations. These are stupid designs. If they're designs, they're stupid. Our eyes are terrible. Our sight is terrible. Our hearing is terrible. Our smelling is terrible.
Right. For some people, everything's different. I understand. It makes me wonder, like, I don't know, because I've had experiences where I feel that there is a spiritual world.
Okay, well, I have feelings that there's none. Now what, right? Feelings don't matter. I'm asking for evidence.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to ask some questions, but thank you for your time.
Feelings don't matter when it comes to truth. We need more. It's appealing to believe that there's somebody behind this. It is, trust me, it's appealing, but it doesn't make it correct. We have to be cautious before we start believing in things like that. I'm not saying don't question, but what I'm saying is let's have reasons before we believe. Let's have good reasons. Okay, let me add the EJ guy back up because he was nice. Oh, shit.
Thank you for having me back. Appreciate it. All right. So the first thing was you asked for proof of when I had said that we were like 1 in a trillion chance of coming here from like the Big Bang wherever.
Yeah.
It's themortalatheist.com. 1 in 10 to the 2.685000 power was the chance
No, man, sir, you fucked it up. Oh man. No, I asked for
other pieces if you want to get into those.
Sir, I asked for an actual source, not some wacko website.
Okay, sure. All right, let's go into the next one then. If you want, you can refute as much. I have another piece just to back it up again. So the first one is if Jesus being God, right? When Jesus was undoubtedly crucified, backed by many scientists.
I don't care if some guy died on a stick. Where's your evidence of a God?
Okay. So can you say that he died on a stick? Sure, like to what you're saying.
Sure, I don't care.
Okay.
Many people died on sticks.
Roman soldiers would have been executed if they didn't do their job correctly. They would have been hung if they didn't do their job correctly and they didn't make sure that he was dead. So they had to make sure for a fact that he was dead, which leads to the next point. Why would a church rise after seeing a dead savior? They wouldn't. They saw a risen savior, Jesus Christ, and that's what caused them to start the church.
What?
That's what caused Christianity.
No. So first of all, we don't know what you just said is, first of all, a claim. Second of all, the fact remains that the Romans, they killed Jesus and they likely would not have had a tomb for him. They probably would never have a tomb. He was a criminal back then. If he existed, he was seen as a criminal. So his body would have been thrown off a cliff or into the ocean. He would have went bye-bye forever. They would never have had a ritual for him or a tomb service for him. That's ridiculous. He was a criminal. He was a rebel. So that's why they would have probably either tortured him and then thrown him off a cliff or removed his body or burned his body.
Sure, I get that. But first of all, Pontius Pilate, he actually deeply cared about Jesus. He tried to defend Jesus. That's why he made sure that he was in a tomb. He wasn't thrown off a cliff or whatever you're saying. And that's not my point. My point is that a church.
But the Romans, they could have taken him out of the tomb and thrown his body off a cliff.
Okay, my point is
that's why it's not that he rose; it's that his body was stolen.
Okay, forget that point. My point was to lead into the fact that a church wouldn't have been created. Peter wouldn't have created the church if he hadn't seen Jesus risen again, or else there would have been.
How do you know this?
Because that would have been he would have believed in the devil. That would have been complete mockery of what God was if he didn't see that Jesus rose again.
That's
Jesus had
ridiculous.
claimed, no,
You're
because Jesus had
presupposing these
claimed,
things.
okay,
Sir, listen.
Jesus claimed through
Many
his entire
churches,
life that he was
sir,
going to
many
raise the
many
dead.
churches existed without outside of Christianity. The idea that only yours is special is ridiculous. Many
Actually,
churches
there is
have
a
been.
very good reason why ours is special
Sir,
and why ours
please
is the only
stop.
one.
Please stop. Hold on. Many churches have been uprisen because of false pretexts, false ideas, mythologies. Right? They would have believed in those things. See, people back then believed in all kinds of things that were wrong, that we know are wrong today. The point is that just because they made a church doesn't mean that there's some truth value to this. We need more
It does in
data
the
than just,
circumstance that it
there's
was
a
in.
church.
Okay, so the circumstances that you're talking about, so those are religions that are created from experiences, correct? But in this situation exactly, Peter and the apostles are Jewish. They are culturally Jewish, they're religiously Jewish, but now they're turning their entire religion into Christianity. They're switching their entire mindset, correct? So they do have a religion to fall back on. If Jesus had stayed dead, they would have said, this is just another guy claiming to be the Messiah, and we're going to stick back to our Jewish God.
Sir,
But they
all
didn't
you're
because they
doing
saw
is,
Jesus
sir,
rose again from the dead.
start. I'm waiting for the evidence for God. Have
That's
you given us
logic.
any
That's
evidence
reason.
of God yet?
Okay. I'm going to go into prophecy now. I'm going to go into prophecy.
No. Give us
If you want
actual
your
evidence. You haven't given us one piece of data that demonstrates a God. All you're saying is, look, they believed in this, therefore it's true. That's ridiculous.
Well,
That
if
doesn't
a
prove
tree was
anything.
okay, so how do you know that Julius Caesar existed?
We have lots of documentation that he existed. We have portraits. We have coins with his name on it.
Did you know there are 12
These are independent data that demonstrate he existed.
Yes, those exact documents are a part of the Bible as well. The Bible
they're not.
supports the Bible
is not. No. The Bible. No. Listen. The Bible is not eyewitness accounts. There are no.
It is.
No, they're not. There are no.
John was an eyewitness account. Paul was an eyewitness account.
Sir. There are no contemporary accounts in the Bible at all. The Gospels, John, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they are not eyewitness accounts, and most biblical scholars agree with this.
No, they don't. Every biblical
agrees that they're not eyewitness accounts. You don't have any eyewitness testimonies. In fact, the Gospels were written decades after Jesus died, supposedly. You have nothing but a storybook. You have no eyewitness accounts at all. You pretend they are, but how do you confirm that they are?
They are because John himself, Mark himself, Matthew himself, Paul himself, and Matthew himself all wrote the Bible or wrote their books the same. And I don't know which.
We don't even know. We don't know who the authors. Sir, there are no authors of the Gospels that are. We don't know who they are. They're anonymous. They could have been all from the same person, for all we know.
They aren't anonymous because Paul wrote the letters, the entire books of Romans, Corinthians, Galatians. Those are letters from Paul to the church, which he grows.
We're talking about the Gospels, sir. The Gospels authors
Paul
are anonymous.
talks about the gospel and gives the gospel credibility. Paul says he saw Jesus Christ right there in front of him.
No, he doesn't. He never says that. He never says that.
Yes, he does.
What verse?
He says it in Acts.
What verse?
He says it in Acts. Here, I'll put it's right here.
If you're talking about 2 Corinthians, he doesn't. And by the way, it doesn't matter if he said I saw it. People say they saw Bigfoot. It doesn't make it true. We need more data than just, this story says.
Okay. But what you were saying is that they weren't first witness account or eyewitness accounts.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you that there were.
There are no eyewitness or contemporary accounts in the Bible at all.
Okay, I just told you how he said greetings from Paul to these churches, claiming that he wrote them himself. He wrote these himself, and they were put in the Bible. So those are first witness accounts. And he backed up.
That's Paul. We're talking about the Gospels, sir. Do you think Paul's part of the Gospels?
Okay. Regardless, Paul says in Romans 10:9, nobody is saved unless they believe in Jesus Christ.
I don't care. Stop preaching.
Okay.
Stop preaching. Stop. Give me evidence that they actually saw Jesus.
Okay, so that's evidence right there. If he's backing up the same claim that the people in the gospel said, then that is the same. They're believing the same exact thing.
Sir, where is the verse that says Paul actually witnessed Jesus, his resurrection?
He didn't witness his resurrection.
You claimed he did. So
I didn't. I said he backed up.
Now you're contradicting yourself, sir. Now you're rambling. Now give us actual evidence that this God exists, or go away.
Okay, I'm gonna get into another point because every single
You
time
didn't have one point yet. You didn't
I
have
did.
one point yet. I'm giving you one more chance, sir, to redeem yourself.
I just explained how Paul. Okay, next I'll talk about this. Isaac. I'm gonna go into prophecy now. Isaac, who is also Israel, the start of Israel, was born 1,948 years after Adam. And you're gonna say, wait, it says it in the Bible. It's not real. I'm gonna get into that. Isaac was born 1,948 years after Adam, and Israel was remade a country in 1948 AD. That was one parallel that God had to show how Israel was reborn again, first of all. Second of all, there are many prophecies.
No. Anybody can say Israel will be reborn. Anybody can say that.
But
That's
exactly
a general vague idea.
1,948 years later?
Anybody can predict that. It's a vague idea. And by the way,
you're telling me, okay, first of all, these are the things that somebody back then would have to see. First of all, they would have to see that Israel fails as a nation.
No, sir. What does the verse actually say?
It's not a verse.
About Israel.
It's a parallel. It's not a verse. The verse says, yes, Israel was
Where's
born.
the verse that prophesizes, sir? Where's the verse that prophesizes Israel's rebirth?
It does. There is no verse that talks about his rebirth. That's just one of the many prophecies. There are verses that do talk about prophecy. Like there's a prophecy, Daniel 9:27. It says,
"Oh my gosh."
Okay, you want me to give you a verse that talks about prophecy? I'll give you one.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay, here, I'll read it out right now. And he will make a firm
yourself 1,000 times.
No, okay, I'm gonna. And he will make a firm covenant with many for 1 week. 1 week was represented as 7 years. 1 day represents each year. But in the middle of the week, halfway through, he'll put a stop to sacrifice and grain offering. And on the wing of abominations will come one who makes desolate. And even until a complete destruction, when that is decreed, is poured out on the one who makes desolate.
Sir, stop. What is this? What's your point? What's the point of the verse?
Okay, my point is that it talks about a firm covenant or a peace treaty that's going to be built with it for Israel for 1 week or 7 years. And right now, here we are with an Israel peace treaty for 7 years with Saudi Arabia, with Palestine.
Wait, no. What did the verse actually say? It did not say 7 years.
Yes, it does. 1 week represents 7 years. 1 week, each day represents a year.
What?
Yeah,
What?
1 week represents 7 years. That's why. Listen,
1 week represents a year.
Can I explain? In Daniel's prophecy, Daniel is speaking here. In Daniel's prophecy, 70 years or 70 weeks was represented for 70 years. 69 years was carried out from Jesus' birth until 69 AD, until the year before the temple was destroyed. That last week is being saved for the tribulation, which is going to be where the temple is rebuilt again. So that each week represents 1 day, or each week represents 7 years, and each day represents
that's
a year.
ridiculous. So that's something you just came up with out of your butt. How do you know that 1 week is actually a year? You don't actually know that. And more importantly, anybody can predict this would happen. Anybody can predict that Israel would be reborn.
First of all, the way we know that 1 week is 7 years.
This is nothing godly, sir. Because guess what? They wrote the Bible in Israel, in that area. That's actually evidence that what you're saying is
4,000 years ago.
Because anybody can predict this. It doesn't take a God to predict this.
So by
the way, you just made a very vague statement. How about all the failed prophecies in the Bible? How about all the
I would love
failed
to hear them.
prophecies?
I'd love to hear them.
Does that mean God doesn't exist?
I'd love to hear any failed prophecies.
Sure.
Here, I would love to hear them.
Of them.
Okay.
How about things like in the Bible, like, for example, talking donkeys that don't happen? How about things like the Genesis that never happened?
What else doesn't happen? People being raised from the dead, yet it did.
How do you know he rose from the dead?
Just because there is an absolute truth.
Sir, how do you know Jesus rose from the dead?
I know. I know he rose from the dead because a church wouldn't have been built off of
No. Sir, they can make churches for anybody these days. I'm asking you, how do you know that he rose from the dead?
I just told you that. They had a religion. You have to understand the circumstances that these apostles were in.
Stop fucking saying it. They had a religion. It doesn't matter about a religion. I'm talking about how you know he rose from the dead. Not because they made up a religion.
I'm telling you, it's not making up religion. It's a result of seeing somebody who rose from the dead. That's what making the religion is.
How do you know he rose from the dead? I'm going to ask you one more time. How do you know he rose from the dead?
And then what, you're going to kick me? Is that what it is?
If you don't give evidence, yes, because you're not debating right now.
Logically, you can get to the conclusion. I'm telling you how logically you can get to the conclusion, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to explain it again. I'm going to explain it again. And if you kick me,
give evidence that he rose from the dead. Let's
Okay,
go.
okay.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna explain it one more time, very, very simply. Okay. The apostles were in a Jewish culture, a Jewish religion, and
No,
heritage.
stop
Let me get
it.
through. Just
Stop
let me
the
get through the whole thing.
apostles. I
Okay,
don't give a
if
shit about
so,
the apostles. No,
okay, if you're
stop.
able.
Stop. The apostles, we have no mention of them in the Bible when it comes to their persecution. Stop mentioning the apostles. You have no idea what you're saying right now. There is no evidence that Jesus rose from the dead at all. There's zero evidence. The Bible is not contemporary. The Bible isn't trustworthy. The Bible is not reliable. You have no eyewitness testimonies. You have no fucking evidence. The Bible's a clump of garbage. The Bible has many failed prophecies. And you have no data for this resurrection. So either give evidence of a resurrection or go away.
Okay, first off, I'd love to hear the failed prophecies that you keep talking and mentioning about.
Sure.
But and second
Isaiah
of all,
17:1, an oracle concerning Damascus. Damascus will no longer be a city, but will become a heap of ruins. Today, it's still existing. Isaiah
okay, and
19
who's to
says,
say
"I
it
will
won't?
hate the Egyptians." Hold on, let me go over the false prophecies, buddy, like you asked me to.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2, Isaiah 19. It says, "I will hand the Egyptians over to the power of a cruel master, a fierce king. The waters of the river will dry up, and the riverbed will be parched and dry." The river mentioned here is the Nile, which never dried up, and is still one of Egypt's greatest natural resources. Want other ones?
Okay, can I talk about these ones now?
Yeah, go ahead. Explain why these are filled.
If those
Never
don't
happened.
have a date, then there's no way to tell that those won't happen in the future, first of all. Second of all, Egypt was given over to the captives. They've been taken over many times by the Arab
How about
countries
this?
already.
Okay, great. Then how about this one? Ezekiel 30:10, it says, "I will put an end to the hordes of Egypt by the hand of a king of Babylon. He and his army will be brought in to destroy the land. They will draw their swords against Egypt and fill the land with sin." This is talking about 568 BCE. And he predicts they will conquer it, slaying scattered people. But except for Egypt actually survived with no damage. So the Egyptians were not dispersed or scattered in that time frame.
Okay, so when Egypt was scattered around, that was in the 1400s during the Crusades. That's when the Arabs and the Muslims came and took over Egypt. So yeah, they weren't scattered before then, like how you're saying.
They were not dispersed. They were scattered.
Exactly, they weren't dispersed in 560 BC or 80. I don't know what you just said, but in the 1400s during the Crusades, the Muslims did come, and Egypt actually used to be a completely different.
No, they were talking. They were talking. No. They were talking about a specific time, sir. They were talking about a specific king, and they failed to understand what actually happened. They got it wrong. They said that a specific king will destroy the army, but he never did.
And how do you know he didn't?
Because it never happened. In his
It never
history
happened.
shows us
So
it never happened.
how do we know? What if it wasn't documented? And it
Oh
did.
my gosh, sir! It is documented.
It is? Okay, where
Yes.
you tell everybody show the proof. Okay, show the proof.
Are you kidding me, sir? It's called history.
I'd love to hear the documents because I have the same documents called the Bible, and you seem to call those
The Bible is not a document of historical facts. It's a document of mythology.
It's a document of first-hand experience.
No, it is not. No, it is not. You can't claim that. How do you know the Bible is eyewitness? It's not.
Because they claimed it themselves. And okay, I'll tell you right here. I'll tell you right here. I'll tell you how.
No. There is nobody says they saw Jesus resurrect. That's garbage. You keep making these dumb claims.
I can tell you how. First of all, Thomas did see Jesus resurrect. He felt Jesus' hands with the holes in them. By him,
Where? What verse is
firsthand
this?
witnessed.
What verse is this? What verse is
I'll tell
this?
you right here. It's right here. John 20:27. Then he said to Thomas, referring to Jesus, "Put your finger here, see my hands, reach out your hand and put it into my side," talking about the spear that they shoved into his ribs. "Stop doubting and believe," because Thomas didn't believe that Jesus rose again until he said that he would see Jesus Christ.
Everything you just said does not correlate with the idea that he had holes in his hands.
Yes, it literally said, "Put your finger here, see my hands, reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." This is after Jesus was resurrected.
That doesn't mention a hole in the hand at all. What are you talking about?
It doesn't, bro. It says, "Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Put your finger here, see my hands." My
Reach
point
out
is
your
that he
hand,
had
put it to my side. How is that a hole in my hand?
Okay, when I was saying it, I meant he Okay, sure. I said that he said he wouldn't believe until he put it into his hands, but I'm saying he didn't believe until he could see him, he could see Jesus, and he could feel Jesus Christ. Again, feel him living. And he did.
What?
It says it right here, whether
That's
it's
a
in his hands or
spiritual
not.
sense. That doesn't mean he actually witnessed Jesus resurrect. He just meant
He
he
says
felt
he
it
did.
spiritually.
Okay, John 20:26. Do you want me to give you context?
Sure. What's the context?
The context is this is a week after Jesus rose from the dead, for your sake, supposedly rose from the dead. Okay. And the disciples are, some of them believe that he rose again and some don't. And so they're kind of like just hanging out trying to figure out what's
I'm asking
I'm
you,
trying to
what's
give you
the
context.
evidence that
Yes.
somebody? No. What I'm asking is this: what is the evidence that somebody saw Jesus rise from the dead? You have not presented that.
Okay. The evidence is the first-hand accounts. And here's the evidence.
No. You
Okay,
can't just say
let me
first
give it to you.
account.
Let me give it to you.
Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence that somebody saw Jesus rise from the dead.
Okay. If a church was built on the same foundations for the last 2,000 years.
Oh my God, who cares about a fucking church? It's garbage. I'm asking for evidence of a God.
The church is built on the foundation of Jesus Christ rising from the dead. The same people who
is the
claim that they
Buddhist
saw it.
temples.
So that truth has been
So is the
proven through
Muslim mosques.
generations.
So is the Buddhist temples. So is the Hindu temples.
Okay,
Everybody
but
has
your
their own
argument
gods,
isn't
sir.
your argument
What
isn't
makes
for the
yours
Muslims
special?
and for the Buddhists. Your argument is for God.
Your God is not special at all. You're
It
just
is
one more
actually. It
church.
very much is. But you don't like me to. You don't want me to preach. So
Then
I
give
can't
me
tell you
evidence.
why.
Then give me evidence that God exists.
I just explained to you. Okay, like I said, can I please explain the thing with the apostles? You like, if you're so confident that you can disprove it, just let me say it and then tell me I'm wrong and kick me off. Okay.
No, your job is to give me evidence that somebody
I
saw
am.
Jesus rise from the
Okay,
dead.
so let me give you the full evidence so that you can fully disagree with me. Okay.
Don't go to the Bible because the Bible's not evidence. It's a story. I'm
Let
asking
me
for
say the
evidence that
quote-unquote
somebody saw
story
Jesus
then.
rise from the dead.
Let me use the quote unquote evidence then logically and disprove it after. Just say no after. Just give me 30 seconds to explain it. Every single time I get into it, you give me 5 seconds. And
You already wasted 10 seconds. Hurry up.
Okay. Peter and the rest of the apostles were in a Jewish religion and culture and heritage that everybody looked down upon them because nobody believed that Jesus was the Messiah. Okay. And so the fact that they believed that Jesus was the Messiah, when he died, it made them all look like idiots. It made them all look dumb. It made a mockery of the entire new Christian religion.
This is all nonsense. Who cares? Who cares about this? It doesn't matter how
because
they
I'm
looked.
about to get to the point.
Stop.
You don't let me
It doesn't
finish.
matter how they looked. Guys, it doesn't matter if they look bad or they didn't look bad. The fact remains, nobody has evidence of God. Nobody has evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. There is no evidence of this at all. All right, say the next guest in here. You can't just say, "Oh, look, he made a church."
Okay.
The same can be said for every religion.
How do you explain to me how you have a three without a create four? Give me your evidence.
Well, are we there?
Yep, what do you got?
Can you hear me now?
What is your evidence of God, sir? So far,
What is your
nobody has
evidence he
presented any
doesn't
evidence of a
exist?
God.
What's
Give
your
us
evidence he doesn't exist?
Oh my gosh.
It's called faith. And by the way, I got a question for you.
Faith. Okay, so
You
you have no actual
said
evidence? Okay. Guys, faith is not evidence. The Bible is not evidence. The Bible is a book of fairy tales. Faith is based on no evidence by definition. These are not evidence. Hey, what do you got?
Oh, hello. The evidence that Jesus Christ really rose from the dead. Do you know about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah, there's no mention of Jesus in there at all.
Yeah, but it confirms about the rising, and it also.
No, it doesn't. You're like the saint. You're like the last guest. You're making all these claims and you don't back them up. Where's your evidence that Jesus is in the Old Testament?
There's a designer. Have you heard that argument?
Okay, where's the evidence of design?
Our bodily functions. You know how precise the eye is? There's no way that it just comes across as evolution. There's no chance.
Why not? Why can't the eye evolve? Why is it impossible?
Because Then you would just have to believe that we're just pawn scum. If you really believe
What? Oh my gosh, so you're so fucking lost. We know for a fact the eye evolved, number one. Number two, we know for a fact evolution happens. And we know that our eyes are faulty. They're shitty. We can barely see barely any of the light spectrum that's out there. Our eyes are terrible compared to a hawk's eyes, which can see from miles away.
Can I ask you a question then? If you believe God doesn't exist,
how about
you
blind
believe
people? How about blind people? And why can we design things that are better than our eyes, like microscopes and telescopes? Why is that better than our eye?
because God has given us the gift in order to do that?
How do you know that?
Because it talks about it in the Bible. He gave us free will.
So
If
it
free
also
will
says
does not
donkeys
exist,
talk in the Bible, sir. The Bible also says donkeys can talk. The Bible's garbage. The Bible is a piece of shit. I'm asking for evidence, not a book.
yeah, there's a designer. We don't come across by
That's
chance.
that's your opinion. Where's your evidence of designer?
Okay, look out everywhere where you look, right? If you look across Mount Rushmore and you look at it and you just say, oh, no, that just happened to be. That was designed. There's nothing that comes across. If you get designer jeans, you have a designer. If you have a watchmaker.
Okay, stop. When you look at rain coming down from the sky, do you think that there's somebody designing the rain?
God designed the rain in order
Do
to
you think
flourish.
do you think there's somebody in the clouds making the rain come down?
No, it's the atmosphere, but God made that.
Great. So you can have naturalistic reasons as to why the rain falls, just like you have naturalistic reasons for why we exist in this way.
Okay, can I ask you then, if you believe God doesn't exist, then do you believe morality is relative?
Yeah, of course. Hold on. Even if God exists, morality is relative.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Your God's
There are some
opinion.
objective morals. There are some objective morals.
How do you know that God's morality is objective?
Because the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal.
Those are God's
Respect thy mother and thy
opinions.
father.
Those are God's opinions.
It's not an opinion. If he's the creator, those are his objective morals. If you have a teacher,
No. Just because he's a creator doesn't mean that he's objective. I'm asking for evidence that his morality is objectively good.
So if a president of the United States says not to kill someone, is that just his opinion, or is that like
that's his opinion?
Right. So if you believe that morality is relative, and I go out and rape someone, then would you say that's right or wrong?
It's wrong to me.
Okay, yeah, but no.
Why not? Why can't I say it's wrong?
Because if it's wrong, then that completely misguides the whole idea that morality is relative. You cannot say that it's wrong. If morality is relative, you have to say, well, from your perspective, it may be right, but from my perspective, it's wrong.
No, it's wrong to me. Now, give us an now.
You
how
can't
do
stand on your
no,
moral high ground and say that
Sir,
morality is relative, and then say that something
Sir,
is
listen,
completely
please listen,
wrong.
please
You
listen,
cannot.
sir. Please listen. How do you know that your morality is objective?
God gives some objective morals.
Okay, are things good just because God says it, or are they good because it's good? It's the right thing to do.
Because God says it.
That's God's opinion.
It's not an opinion. Okay, if you have, how is it an opinion? If he's the creator and he makes the moral laws, that's not his opinion. He made us. That means that his law.
Okay, great. So then how do you know that his law is objectively true, no matter what you think? It's objectively true. How do you know that?
How do I know that? Because I read the Bible.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at the Bible. How about Leviticus 20:13, where it allows you to murder people for being LGBT?
Okay,
Is that
if
good or
you're
bad
bringing
to
up that argument, you need to do a little bit more studying because they were living in a theocracy at the time, not a democracy.
Wait, so you think there was a time where it's okay to murder?
God judged people and told other people to murder people because he's the creator. He has the right to judge those people.
So you think it's okay to murder if God tells you it's good?
If they are doing heinous acts like they were in the Old Testament, and God and Sodom and Gomorrah, and God brought the angels down and cast them down, then yes. If they're doing things.
Okay, so what if God told you to commit SA to somebody? Would you commit SA?
I don't think he would ever do that, because if you look at Abraham, he told him to sacrifice
Yes, he
his son.
does. He does in Exodus 21:7. He does it in Numbers 31:7. He does it in many verses of the Old Testament. He
Right, but
commands
Numbers,
us to do
Deuteronomy,
something.
Leviticus, they were living in a theocracy.
So you're saying there was a time in which it's okay to essay and murder?
No.
So it was always wrong to
What
murder.
are you talking about in Exodus and Numbers? Can you give me the precise verse?
I don't want to get bananaed, but Leviticus 20:13, go read it for yourself. Numbers 31:7, go read it for yourself. They allow you to do discussing things. They're your God's laws that tell us to murder.
Yeah, they were living in a theocracy.
Okay, so you're saying that because they lived in a certain society, that means it's okay to murder.
God was judging them, and he told other people to go kill the people that were completing or doing heinous acts in the name of God and twisting his word.
So you're saying if whatever God says, you'll do. So if God says that you can murder, rape, essay, it's all good to you.
God would never do that.
But he does in Numbers 31. Now what?
Yes. He never called for the raping of anybody. You're twisting the word.
Yes, he did.
No. Okay, read it to me, please.
I don't want to read it because I'm going to get banana.
No,
here.
because you're lying.
Go read it. Go. How about this? Go read it for yourself. How about this? Go read it for yourself. Go read it for yourself and then come back and then reevaluate your position. Because you definitely don't have objective morality. You can't just have it because you say you have it.
Wait, am I on by myself?
Yeah, what do you got?
I'm kind of in the middle of what you and that guy were just talking about. So, if you believe that God is imaginary, I can just say, so who created everything? I just kind of want to hear that from you.
Nobody created anything. There's no creation.
So who created the Big Bang? I suppose you believe in the Big Bang, right?
Oh my God! Why do we have to put a who behind this? Why do you guys do this all the time? No. Go away. Stop. Just listen for a second, guys. Listen. There doesn't have to be a who behind the universe. There doesn't have to be a person behind it. Look at how egotistical that is. To sit there and say, there's got to be a somebody making me because I'm special. No. The universe could be a product of natural events. There's no need for somebody to make it. There's no evidence of somebody making it. So please give me evidence or go away.
You're a faggot.
Whoa, what's wrong with being gay?
Everything, faggot.
What's wrong with it?
Everything, you little faggot.
Oh, is this Christian lover here? See, this is the problem. Christians pretend they're so loving. And then this is what they do, right? They try to take away rights. They call people names. They say that we deserve to die. It's a disgusting blood cult. And by the way, this is in the Bible.
Shamey.
Guys, the Bible is inherently disgusting. It's barbaric. Built upon terrible laws, terrible ideas.
Mike, yo, can you hear me?
How old are you?
22.
What's your evidence for God?
All right. Well, first off, I said one thing to say before I get to that, just to touch on what that last kid coming in here calling you faggot. I think there's a group of people that can give people a bad taste of Christians, if that makes sense.
No. Christianity, no, you're not going to do, I'm so sick and tired of people saying this. Oh, that was a bad Christian, but I'm a good Christian. Christianity is inherently a bad religion. It is inherently built upon blood and torture. Think about it. You worship a torturing device. You worship a crucifixion device. You literally worship a cross. And what do you think? You take credit for somebody's death. Oh, he died for me. He died for me. No, he didn't. He doesn't care about you. You take credit for his death because you are in a cult. Don't you get it? You think the entire universe was made for you. You think you have access to some kind of objective morality, which you don't. You think you can tell everybody else that they deserve to die, that they're bad people. You are in a cult and you don't even know it. Let alone the fact that there's no evidence of this shit. You're making it up as you go. Right? Think before you believe in these things. Think before you believe. There is no evidence of a God. Design, you can point to design, all these things, but there's no reason to believe in design at all. There's no reason to think that there's somebody making this. And I know it's appealing to believe this, but the problem is there's just no good reason to believe it. Hey, what do you got? Jesus died to save you from sin. Sin that he gave you. Think about it. If you believe in God or Jesus, what happened? He forced us to be here. He forced us to exist. He throws us in this sick, demented Saul game where, ha ha ha, you must believe and love me or die. That's like the Saul guy, right? Like from the movie Saw, right? Like your God is that guy, Jigsaw. Like he forced us to be here. He tells us you have to believe or die. What kind of life is that? The idea that he died for sins, so therefore we have to worship us. That's something he did. That's something that your God chose for us to do in the first place. It's not my fault that he died for my sin. That's God's fault. He didn't have to die for his sin. He could have just erased our sin. He could have walked a dog for sin. He could have made toast for sin. He didn't have to die for sin. That's stupid. He's God. All right. Hey, what's your argument?
Let me tell you something. God is real.
Hello? What do you got?
Hello?
What's your argument?
So I want to ask you, why do we die?
Your cells gunk up and they malfunction?
No. I didn't ask you how. I asked you, why do we die?
There's no why. There's no reason. There's no answer to that question. Asking why is a stupid question. You're asking a stupid question.
I'm really trying to learn.
Well, I'm sorry.
Why do we die? It's because you have all the answers. So I'm just asking.
No, not at all. No.
And I'm asking you this respectfully because I want to learn. So
okay, then listen, man.
Okay, go ahead.
I am not here to say I have all the answers. In fact, the Christian is, the Muslim is. They think they have all the answers. I don't know if there's an answer to the why question. I don't know the answers to the universe. All I know, though, is that science is a good method to truth and that religion is not a good method to truth. That's all I know. So before we believe in something like God or afterlives or a soul, let's have some reasons for this. Let's have some good evidence for this. So do you have any good evidence?
Okay, so my evidence is this, right? Because I went through a situation. My intuition was telling me to stay away from a person for 11 months. My soul was bothered and I didn't listen.
Ma'am.
And then the evidence became prevalent.
This is called intuition. It's not called God. It's called having a sense of right or wrong.
No, but it's not about just having a sense of right or wrong.
It's the brain.
Sweetheart,
it's called the brain, ma'am. It's called the brain. Your brain has a way of feeling things.
No, Honey, it's not just the brain.
How do you know it's not that?
It's protecting us.
How do you know
From
this? How do you
hurt
know
and
this?
pain.
How do you know this? How do you know this?
Because I just learned it myself.
How do you know? How do you know God's there?
Because I know.
How do you
There's
know?
no way to explain it.
How do you know?
Let me
How
tell
do
you
you
something.
know? How do you know? No,
Life.
no. You're not going to preach here, ma'am.
I'm not
Give us
preaching.
evidence
I
or
am
go
not
away.
preaching.
Give us evidence or go away.
Because I'm asking you, the evidence is, listen, when you talk.
You're not going to preach here. Guys, you're going to give evidence or you're going to go away. I don't have time for preaching. I want data. I want something we can use, not your experience with yourself or your dream you had or the feeling you got when you had sex. Give me evidence or go away. I felt good when I had sex. I don't care. It doesn't mean God's real. Hey, what do you got? Someone just said the transcendental argument. It fails because we can ground all those things like logic, mathematics, and all the intelligibility of the universe by our minds. Our minds are ways to describe the world. We don't need God for that. And more importantly, there's no contradiction in a natural universe where we can ground these things in a mind. Hey, what do you got?
Hello. I just want to draw your attention to something very important. Since you based your belief only on science, right?
No, I don't believe in science. Science is a methodology to truth. But yeah, go ahead. What's your evidence for God?
Okay. Do you believe that things happen spiritually or not?
No. Do you have evidence for God? Yes or no?
Because God doesn't work physically as you
Okay, then
as
how do you
think.
know? Then how do you know He's there?
Do you believe in spirituality or not?
Have
Do
a
you
good day.
think? Do you believe?
Guys, how do you know? I know you believe these things, but how do you know they're real? Right? That's a different question. How do you know? What's your epistemology? How do you know this thing happened? What's your evidence? Right? How do you falsify your belief? That's what I care about. We don't have all the answers. And I agree. There could be something out there that we don't know about. But it doesn't mean you know the answer. That's called godly gaps. Hey, what do you got? There's only consciousness. Well, consciousness seems to be emergent of the brain. There doesn't seem to be any fundamental law of reality that requires consciousness. Hey, what do you got?
I don't really have evidence about God's existence. It's just that I thought there's a lot of archaeological evidence of Jesus' existence during the Roman Empire.
Okay, I don't care. Where's your evidence of it? I don't care about a guy who died on a stick. All right, I care about a guy.
No, I'm actually saying I'm a Jew. It's just that we don't. There's a lot of things that we can't really explain, isn't it? Like there's things in the
Okay,
world.
great. So who cares? Where's your evidence for God?
I really don't have to.
Okay, have a good day. I don't care if some guy died on a stick for no reason. I care about a God. Hello?
What's up?
Hey, what's your evidence for God?
So I'm going to compare this to how do you see air? Do you believe that there's air?
Do you feel the effects of air?
Yeah, so yes, we can put air into a cup, we can put air into a bottle or container, and we can measure its pressure, its density, its mass, right? We can measure air. That's how we know it's there. So how do we measure God?
So you feel the effects of it
in multiple ways. Now, how do you know that God's there?
So you think the way that your body is put together, you believe that you can fall asleep and your body just automatically starts breathing for you, keeps your heart beating and all that kind of stuff.
It's called a brain. If you had one, you know this. But yeah, those are called basic brain functions. It's not God, it's not Jesus, it's not Islam, it's not Allah, it's not Buddha, Bodhida, Badada. It's called biology. Go learn it sometime. So where is your evidence that God designed us? Because when I look at things like allergies, that's
where's your
stupid design
evidence?
to me.
Where's your evidence? You know that someone built the house that you're living in, right? Where's your evidence that they built that? You weren't there when they were building it.
Right. Now, when I look at rain coming down from the, hold on. When I look at rain falling from the sky, do I think that there's somebody in the clouds with a hose going, "Let me spray water on these guys"?
I don't think God does that either.
Okay, great. So we have a natural process that causes rain to come down. So when it comes to the universe, there could be a natural process that yields a universe.
I didn't ask about the weather or anything. I asked about your house. You know there's a builder.
Yeah.
It didn't just appear out of nowhere.
I agree. Houses are assembled by people, but clouds are not. So you can't use the agent example when it comes to the building for everything else in the universe. Some things are natural. Perhaps the universe is natural. Do you agree?
I think that God built the universe. He created the universe and everything.
I don't give a shit what you think, sir. I want evidence of a God.
You don't. You're asking for tangible evidence for an intangible subject.
How do you know it's intangible? How do you know it's
works.
intangible? How do you know it's intangible?
Because it's a part called faith. You have to have faith.
Oh, okay. And I have faith that you're wrong. Now, who's right?
Okay.
Who's right?
I don't know. It seems like the pride's just overtaking you. That's what it seems like.
The one who thinks the entire universe was designed for them is calling me prideful? I'm sorry, sir.
When did I say the universe was designed for me? We're put here for God's purpose.
Your entire worldview is dependent on your thoughts. Your ego, right? God is just a reflection of your own ego. Oh, he loves you. He died for you.
We're put here for God's purpose. We're not put here.
It's all about me. Your entire religion is about yourself, not about helping other people.
It's not. We're put here for God to use our abilities that he gave us.
It's all about you. So give evidence of a God. Hurry up.
Where's your so there's a moral right and wrong. Where do you think that comes from?
The brain.
So how do you think the earth got created then?
It did.
The Big Bang? Something just popped and everything just created perfectly so we can live here on earth?
No, that's what you think. You think.
What do you think?
What you think is this. Some God was bored he lived in eternity.
What do you think?
One day he got bored and he's like, let me make some people. And he went, ooh, poof, with his magic wand, and poof, we all magically appeared in 6 days, and everything perfectly appeared this way. The earth, the sun, the stars, everything magically appeared, and that's what you believe, sir.
I asked what you believe, what you think the earth got created from.
It's called planetary cosmology. It's called accretion disks, planetary disks, supernovae. This is what causes planets to evolve and chemically and physically evolve over time.
Where'd it come from?
The matter and the energy in the universe could
so nothing came from all of this that we have.
No.
Came
Listen
from nothing.
to what I just said. You cut me off. The matter and the energy in the universe could have existed forever in some kind of state, and then over time it changes states, and that's what we are in.
And all of that happened so that we have enough gravity to stay on here on Earth, and we're not drug under the ground, and we don't float off the ground for a little bit. We have all of that perfectly in line that we can live perfectly comfortable when other planets have not living comfortable conditions.
The Earth is also in a perfect distance from the sun for us to get skin cancer. Does that mean God designed the Earth for skin cancer?
It's also a perfect distance from the sun that we don't burn up and shrivel up, or a perfect distance that we're
It's
not
also a
breathing.
perfect distance for us to get bacterial infections and die.
It's living conditions. That's all of that is caused by
No.
the sin that Adam did.
No.
That Adam and Eve did. Yes, it is.
So what you're trying to say is, look how perfect everything is. There must be some kind of God. But unfortunately, the reverse is true. It's not that we were placed here by some cosmic chess player, but we have evolved with the Earth's conditions over time. We evolved to fit within a specific parameter. We are barely surviving, sir. It's hard to survive, and that's why 99.9% of all species that have ever existed are now extinct. They're never coming back. Why is that? Because the Earth is not a place for life to thrive. It's a place where life goes to die.
It's the only place that life is.
Are you kidding me? There are more stars in the universe
That's
than
not
grains
life.
of sand on all the beaches of the Earth combined.
That's not life.
And you're telling me that we looked at all the planets in the universe and we're the only ones with life? That's like taking a glass of water from the ocean and going, there's no whales in here. The ocean must be void of whales.
None of what you mentioned is life.
Sir, there could be life on Mars. There could be life on Enceladus. There could be life on Titan, Europa, Venus. Fuck, Jupiter could have life.
None of them have living conditions.
The universe could be teeming with life everywhere. It's just that we don't have the technology yet to look at it yet.
We have looked at it. We know every single bit of temperatures and gravity and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we do.
Okay, great. How many exoplanets have we discovered? Do you know?
I don't know.
So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, sir. We've only discovered 5,000, and we have not actually confirmed their temperatures. It is incredibly difficult to determine the temperatures of planets that are light years away. Very hard to do. Something you'll probably never do. But more importantly, the idea that the universe there's only one life here and we're the only ones is a pathetic point of view when we look at things like the pale blue dot, where we are just one planet, one dot in a universe that is full of galaxies, full of hundreds of billions of stars. The idea that we're the only ones is ridiculous, let alone evidence for a magic space daddy.
All right, man. Well, hopefully you open your eyes, your heart's open.
Yep, it's beating. It's going good. I just checked my pulse. It's going good.
That's good, bud.
Anything else for us tonight, sir?
Nope.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's your argument for your magic god?
I don't have an argument. I just think that the argument that you are prompting is just, I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of misled. Like, obviously God, is imaginary, right? How are you really supposed to argue that? I feel like...
Next. I don't care what you feel. I care what you know and how you know it. Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Great. What's your evidence for your magic sky daddy?
So I have two questions for you. If you're saying that God is imaginary, what is your definition of God?
Imaginary.
No, that's not a definition. That's a description.
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. What is your definition of God?
Well, the general picture of a god is a being who is personal, has a mind, and can do things. And to me, that is something that is not coherent if you're talking about an omnipresent or omnipotent God. I think that there's contradictions in these ideas, especially when it comes to divine hiddenness, the problem of evil, comes to, the omniparadoxes. There are different logical inconsistencies in your God, which is why I don't believe in it.
Okay, so you're saying that a God has omnipresent and is cognizant, a God that can think, a God that can interact with the current world, the physical world. That's your definition.
Yeah, so what's your evidence for God now?
Okay, so in the Bible, if you're a Christian, you believe that God made us in his own image. And
I
wouldn't
don't
you
give a
say that
shit
all
about
of us,
sure. I
well,
don't
hold
give
on.
a shit about what some story says. I don't care about a story. Where's your
Well, no.
evidence for God?
You asked me what it is. So if you read what our beliefs are, why we believe that God is
I don't
valued
care
and
about your
true.
belief. Give me evidence of this God or go away.
Well, I'm going off of your definition of God.
No, now we're going off of yours now, right? The Christian God. So where's your evidence of the Christian God?
I just told you, by your definition of a God, we are made in God's image, and we are all the things that you said
How do you
makes up
know
a
that?
God.
How do you know this, sir? How
What
do
do
you
you
know
mean,
this?
how do I know it? The same way that you just defined it. I'm going off your definition.
How do you know God exists?
He exists through us.
How do you know that?
Because that's what we're told.
You're
That's the
told from a
belief
story.
structure of the Christian religion.
You're told from what? A book?
Yeah. How do you know anything in life other than what you learn every day?
Verification, falsification, science. That's how we know things, sir. We don't know things by looking at a story that's 3,000 years old that talks about talking donkeys. You believe in talking donkeys and talking snakes and fucking giants and wizards and dragons? That's garbage. Where's your evidence for a god, not some mythological man who died on a stick for no reason?
Well, what's more logical to you? That there was a big boom that out of the billions and trillions of possibilities created the entire universe, or that there was some
Sir, that's not what the
force
Big
in the
Bang is.
universe?
That's not what the Big Bang is, buddy. Go
What?
learn some science for once in your life. The Big Bang is not a big boom. It is an expansion of space and time. It is not a boom.
Different words for the same thing. It was all of a sudden
No,
event
sir.
that created the entire
It's an
universe.
expansion of pre-existing space-time. A stretching of space and time. That is not a boom.
Well, bang, boom, whatever word you want to use. You
No,
understand what I'm trying to say?
You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this on my life. You're going to actually understand what it means, what the Big Bang means. If not, you can go away. So do you recognize the difference between an expansion where all points of the universe are expanding at the same rate and the same time versus an explosion
all time. It's not the same time.
versus
It's
an
all time.
explosion where you have different variations of speeds and velocities, and you have do you understand the difference here?
Of course, I've studied it
Okay,
thoroughly.
Great. So the Big Bang is an expansion, not an explosion or a boom. Now, give me evidence that God did it.
Well, God is a word. So our belief, or my belief anyway, is that the entity or the being or the presence or whatever you want to call it is something that had a pre-time existence
How
that
do you know
created
this,
who we
sir?
are, what we
Can
are,
you
and the
stop
universe as a
babbling?
whole.
Stop babbling and give us evidence for once,
I
please.
just told you the evidence is that the opposite is that there is no evidence.
That's a God of the gaps. That's argument for ignorance. I don't know, therefore God. That is false. Hey, what do you got for us? Corey?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Keep tapping, guys. What's your argument today?
So here's my thing. Earlier, I heard you talk about what was that example you gave about Saw?
What?
Earlier, you were talking about like Saw and something about
Yeah, what's your
like.
argument, buddy? What is your argument?
No, I just want to touch up on what you were saying.
Okay, when you get out of your submarine, come back, okay? I don't know where you are, but it sounds like you're on the other side of the world right now, in Antarctica, maybe.
Bro?
Hello? Hey, what do you got?
Hello? Okay, so you say that the Big Bang comes from what again?
Oh my gosh. It didn't come from anywhere.
Just
The Big
answer it.
Bang is a
Okay.
phase. Stop. The Big Bang
A
is a
phase?
phase.
A phase? A phase of what?
Can I speak?
I'm letting you go. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The Big Bang is a phase in which the universe goes from a hotter, denser, smaller state to a larger, colder state. And this is called expansion.
Where did that come from, though?
That's all the Big Bang means. It didn't come from anywhere. It could have always existed, right? The state, the primordial state could have always existed.
From what?
If it always exists, it doesn't come from anywhere. It's always there.
It's always existed, so how can you prove God's not real? How can you prove that he's never existed?
I'm not saying it depends on what God you believe in. If you're talking about the Christian God or the Muslim God, we can debunk those based on things like the problem of evil, the omniparadoxes, divine hiddenness.
So certain gods exist, but certain gods don't exist?
Yeah, certain gods can't exist by definition. They're too...
Okay, so then God does exist.
What God you believe in?
No, you said God, so God does exist.
It depends on what you mean by God. What's your definition of God?
Bro, you just said God exists, bro.
No, I did not. God does not exist.
Say God
There's no evidence of a God, sir.
Bro,
Give me
so you
evidence
just
of a God.
said certain gods exist, but certain gods can't exist, but now you're saying that God doesn't exist.
Certain definitions
You're running in circles,
of God.
bro.
Oh my gosh, sir.
You're
certain
running
definitions
in,
of
bro,
God.
you're running in circles, bro.
No, listen to what I
You're
just
running
said.
in circles, bro.
Listen, certain definitions of God might be
That's not what
possible.
you said.
But
Might
that
be
doesn't mean
possible.
that God
So then how
itself
can you
is
say that it's
possible
not
or
possible?
exists. Sir, listen.
Go ahead.
Listen. So what is the evidence that your God exists? And what
What's
is the
the evidence
definition
that
of
he
your
doesn't?
God? Because that's how I know I can debunk it. I can debunk the Christian God if you want me to.
You just said God. You said God could exist. That's what you said, correct?
It depends. Yeah, if God is a water bottle, of course God's real.
So God could exist.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you think God is a water bottle, God's real.
So then how can you prove that God doesn't exist? If you just said that he exists.
Because it depends on your definition of God.
Bro, GG's, bro. You just said God exists. I just proved you wrong.
So listen, if your definition of God is a bottle, God's real. Do you
That's
agree?
not how that works.
Okay, great. So then
Okay, yeah, okay, sure. Let's just go with your definition. Let's
what
go
is
with
your
your
definition
definition.
of God?
You said, and no, because you said it yourself that certain gods could exist. Explain that.
Here, my definition of God is a bottle. God's real, right?
Mm-hmm.
There it is. See,
Okay.
This is the point. It depends
So
on the
how can
definition.
you prove that any? Because you said that
listen,
it
sir,
depends.
buddy.
Go.
It depends on the definition of what you mean God is. If God is my mom, of course God's real. But if God is some kind of Christian thing or Muslim thing, it can't be real. Do you agree?
That's not what you just said. You just said it depends on whether or not it's a Christian or Muslim God. That's what you said.
Yes, it depends on the definition of your God. Now, can you show us evidence for your God?
Can you show us evidence that that Christian or Muslim God doesn't exist?
Sure. The Christian God is all loving, yet evil exists in the world. This is called the problem of evil. It shows us that evil is incompatible with the Christian or Muslim God.
Okay, how about the Christian God?
That's what I just said.
You said the Muslim God.
And the Christian God. If they're both loving, evil can't exist.
That's not how that works. That's not what the Bible says.
Okay, great. So then why does evil exist if God's all good?
If God's all... Okay, first, because he gave us free will.
Okay, does God have free will?
God, yes, he has free will. He's God.
Okay, does God ever do evil?
Depends on your definition of evil.
Yours.
What has he done? What has he done? What has he done? What has he done that's evil?
I'm asking you a question.
Just so I know what you mean.
Oh my gosh, sir. This is why I can't debate dumb people.
Because if anybody makes a point, you kick them out. So answer me.
Listen. Does God, to you, do you think God ever does evil?
Evil? I wouldn't say evil because it depends on definition of evil.
So why doesn't God do evil?
Like I said, it depends on your definition of evil. So define your definition of evil.
Oh my gosh, you literally just said God doesn't do evil. So you obviously know God doesn't do evil by your own definition, right?
Yeah, okay. So what's your definition?
Okay, great. So then why doesn't God do evil?
But what's your definition? So I can explain it to you. Because for all I know, you can have a whole different definition.
What is your definition of evil, sir?
For all I know, you can have a completely different definition.
The Christian definition. Stay on track with the argument.
No, I said your definition. You're not a Christian, so what's your definition?
Are you? You're not a Christian.
I said you're not a Christian, so what's your definition?
This is something called an internal critique, right? I'm putting on your worldview for the sake of the argument to show you that it's inconsistent. You
Putting
understand what
on
that
my
means?
worldview is not debating, man. I'm trying to see
Sir,
it from your view and my view. So
sir,
your
what
view
is your
is
IQ,
not
sir?
your view is
Stay on track with
non-Christian
your
and
sir.
mine
Listen.
is.
Guys, this is not this hard. This is like fifth grade logic. I am doing an internal criticism of the Christian view. You're saying God never does evil. God is all good, right? I'm showing you that if God is all good, he can't allow evil. He can't do evil. Hence, God can't exist because evil exists, right? This is a problem of evil. Now, your job is to demonstrate that evil is compatible with an all good God. If you can't do that, then you have an inconsistency in your view. Hence, your God can't exist. So go ahead and demonstrate to us why evil exists. Let's hear it. Come on,
What's your
sir.
definition of evil?
Oh my gosh, I just explained this. It's your
No, you
definition.
did not. I'm not going by my definition. I'm going by your definition
I'm
so I can
going off of
compare
your
the two.
definition, sir.
No, so we can compare the two. What's
Oh
your
my God.
definition?
I can't. This is why you can't debate stupid people.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Hi. Yeah, I would definitely like to follow up on your question about evil. I think from a a Christian worldview that when we think about evil, evil exists because we have free will. We have the ability to choose in the
Okay.
things that we do.
Okay,
Hmm.
great. So stop right there.
Sure.
Does God have free will?
Does God have free will? God is the creator. So
Oh
I'm
my
not sure
gosh.
where you
Can you people ever answer a direct question? Does God ever do evil?
God does not do evil. God is
Okay,
good.
great. Does God have free will?
God has the ability to choose. So if by definition free will is the ability to choose, then yes.
Okay, great. So God has free will, but
Hmm.
never chooses evil. Why not?
Because he's the essence of goodness and of love.
Okay,
So he's
great.
all things that are good. Yeah.
Great. So why couldn't God make us good such that we never sin or do bad?
So in the Garden of Eden, if you go back to the story of Genesis, we were created in God's image and we were in
Right.
perfect relationship with God, right?
Right.
So we
So
agree about that. Okay.
were Adam and Eve good? Were they created good and perfect?
Adam and Eve, yes, Adam and Eve were created good.
Okay, great.
Correct.
So if their nature is good, then how could they sin if their nature is good?
Because they still had the ability to choose
Right.
differently.
But even if you had the ability to choose, just like God, right? God has free will and he's good and never
Sure.
chooses evil. So why couldn't God make Adam and Eve good with free will such that they never choose evil? Just like God.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same with God. It's the same with God.
So in the story, right, we extract from the narrative that it's the knowledge of good and evil. So if you don't have knowledge of something, if you don't have any knowledge of evil, then you can't choose evil, right? So there's the knowledge of good and evil. So that was a choice that was made to
Okay.
know
You
evil.
didn't answer the question directly, ma'am. So let me try one more time with you. If Adam and Eve were good, their nature were
Hmm.
good. They had good
Yes.
natures, which means
Yes.
why would they choose sin? Because even if you have free will and you're good, you'll always choose the good outcome. Just like God. God always chooses good with his free will. So why can't Adam and Eve always choose good with their free will?
So if you look again at the narrative, there was the belief that Eve in the garden was choosing something that was good. So she chose into deception. It was a lie. But she believed that she was making a good choice.
Okay. So then how do they sin though?
So sin is connected with disobedience.
So they
So
didn't
God
sin. Did
told
they
them,
sin? Did they sin?
yes, in disobeying
Okay,
the
great.
command of God.
So why didn't they choose the good option then if they were good?
because there's another party involved, which was the serpent, which
It
brought
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
deception.
It doesn't
Of
matter.
course
If
it
you're
matters.
good, if your nature is only good, you can't choose bad by definition, right? Just like God. God can't choose bad, or he doesn't choose bad.
So
Just like Adam and
do you
Eve.
think
They
do
don't
you
choose
think
bad.
you so here's a question. Do you think you personally, do you think you by nature are good?
I don't believe in goodness and evilness in terms of objectivity. I'm putting on your
I mean,
worldview. I'm
just
putting
for the
on your,
sake of the
oh my
question.
gosh, it's like you guys don't listen. I'm putting on your worldview for the sake of the fucking argument. Can you stay on track?
Sure.
Okay,
And I
great.
want to
Can
put
you
on your
listen? Can you
worldview, which is
listen?
why I asked the question.
If
But you don't
Adam
want to
and
answer
Eve
the
were
question.
good, if Adam and Eve were good, they can't choose bad. No matter what they do, no matter who tempts them, no matter if some fucking snake says, go eat the tree, it doesn't matter. They have good natures, which necessitates them only choosing good by definition.
Sure. So let me come. So I'm coming from your worldview. That's why I'm asking you to answer the question. Do you, in your worldview, believe that you are inherently good?
All right, you can't stay on track. It doesn't matter what my worldview is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is your worldview, because I'm trying to debunk it, trying to point out an inconsistency in it. My worldview doesn't matter. Please stay on track, guys. Please stay on track. I don't need to respect your belief. Fuck that. I'll never respect your belief. And by the way, no belief deserves respect. I'm not going to be a slave to your belief. Hey, what do you got?
Hello?
What's your point? What's your argument?
Oh, am I on here?
Anybody home?
Hello?
Have a good day, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. What's your argument?
I would like to assess kind of where you're coming from so I can properly
There's no evidence for God. What's your
strategize.
argument for God? What is your argument for God?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I just want to like kind of lay everything on the table. You're coming from a materialistic perspective that's based in empiricism, right?
No, but I'm not necessarily materialist. I agree that there could be material. I mean, the universe seems to be material, but I'm open to an immaterial if you can provide evidence for it.
So, are you familiar with like ontological and epistemological structures?
Yeah. So what's your argument?
So my argument is, I think the way that you're saying it, maybe you're coming from a rationalist perspective, but my argument would say that someone who is operating from a idealistic perspective, yeah. Oh, I know what you're saying, but I'm getting down to the bare bones of it. Like this could almost be said as a straw man argument, the way that you're setting this up, because you're not going down to the substructure of the actual argument. And if you don't have all the pieces that lead up to this conclusion, then what are you actually arguing? And it's easy for you to dismiss other people's arguments because you're not getting
I'm not
down to the.
arguing anything. I'm not arguing anything. I'm simply saying that I think there's no reason to believe in a God. So prove me wrong. Give me evidence of God. That's all I'm asking here. I'm not arguing
Right.
necessarily.
So
I'm just asking for evidence.
the perspective I'm coming from is that not that I necessarily disagree with you in that respect. However, there are
Sir,
people.
please just give us an argument for your sky daddy, or go away. Give me a fucking argument. Give me something.
It's not a sky day. Okay, so this is what it is. On an ontological level, people believe in materialism or they believe in idealism. If they believe in idealism, what they do is they preference a epistemological way of interpreting the world, which usually is based off of their personal experience, right? And
Right.
there's a certain way that they interpret that data through that stream. And for them, God actually is real because they're going through a intuitive process of interacting with the world on a abstract way.
Yeah, and that's why this is why intuition fails, because I
Well,
can
no, see, you're
intuit a
saying it fails,
no,
but
listen,
but
listen,
no,
listen,
it's
listen,
failing
listen,
in a
listen,
materialistic
sir,
perspective based off of science. No, you are saying that you're
intuition fails at providing reliable results for this reason. I can intuit that the earth is flat. That seems very intuitive that the earth is flat, but it's wrong. It seems intuitive that the sun revolves around the earth, but that's false. Intuition is not a very reliable way to truth. We need more than intuition. So that's why idealism is stupid. Because intuition does not justify believing in some kind of thing, especially not a God. So please give me an argument that proves or demonstrates that there's a God, or go away, please.
So what you're trying to do with the way you're saying is you're trying to alleviate any sort of merit that comes from someone that has a ontological belief of idealism where they can interact with
Sir, please
something through their intuition.
stop saying ontological like you know what you're talking about, and give an evidence that that God exists, please.
So, but your perspective is rooted in a materialistic A plus
Who
B
cares?
Aristotelian
Who
logic based
cares?
off of
Who cares what I
materialism.
believe? Who cares?
Right,
Now,
but
what's your
what
argument
I'm
for that?
saying is you're taking your materialistic perspective, the basis of.
I can't anymore. I can't. He's rambling. Give an argument or go away, which he went away. Hey, what do you got?
Hi, how you doing? Do you hear me?
Unfortunately, what do you got?
Well, I have evidence. I do.
Great, let's hear it.
But I need to challenge you, and I need you to actually just look in the mirror. Go to the bathroom and look in the mirror.
Okay, I'm gonna find Jesus.
And that's your evidence. You.
Me?
It's you. Yes. You're not Jesus, but how are you made? How are you made? How are you created? Are you gonna believe in a worm? Did a worm create you? Evolution created you? Who created you?
Okay, let me respond here. When you ask the question, how were we made? This is a malformed question because there does not need to be a maker for us. We could have evolved naturally without agency.
How?
Something called evolution. Have you been to school?
So evolution's going to give us each of our body parts, our heart, our tongue, our hands, our veins, our kidneys. You believe that? Then you need to tell me why you believe that. How we magically just appeared on this earth.
That's not evolution. It does not say we magically appeared. That's what you believe, ma'am. You believe that one day out of an eternity.
That's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying. Listen, what you're saying is one day some magic being in eternity got bored and he was like, let's make some people. Really? And he waved his magic wand and he went, poof, let there be light.
So it makes
and
more
everything
sense.
magically appeared in 6 days from nowhere. That's what you believe.
That we were created billions of years ago from what?
What the evidence demonstrates is that we evolved. That's a fact. And if you want to refute this, great. But prove the scientists wrong. Prove the science incorrect. You're not going to do it, but go ahead and try. When it comes to things like how we got here, we have reasons that are natural. We have biology, physics, geology, right? All these things go into explaining why we are here. The problem is that you don't understand science. Hence, you're coming up here, embarrassing yourself by not actually giving any arguments, right? If you just understand the science, you would know that we did not come here from some magic sky daddy, but we most likely evolved through time. And the evidence of this is in science, DNA, lab experiments, fossil records. So go ahead and give an actual argument or go away, please.
Well, it's impossible for us to be perfectly made just by evolution. It's impossible.
Wait,
we are
hold on.
made.
Hold on, let me get my glasses. I can't see too well.
We have 10 fingers.
You said we're perfect? We're perfect?
I said we are perfectly made in his image. We have 10 hands, 10 fingers. We have body parts. How is it? How is it that a man and a woman...
Hold on, I can't hear you too well. Let me get my hearing aid. I can't hear. Hold on.
Excuse me, a man and a woman. How is that?
I got my hearing aid.
Why does the man have a penis? penis? Why does a man have a penis and a woman have a vagina? That's evolution? All of a sudden,
it's
a
called
penis appeared?
chromosomes.
So
It's
who
called
thought about the penis? Who
Ma'am,
thought about the penis? How
ma'am,
is that even possible?
it's
How is
called
that possible?
chromosomes. It's called chromosome evolution.
And that's evolution. Just magically evolution said, you know what? Let's make a penis and a vagina.
Guys, I know it's hard to understand biology, but this is like 5th grade, right? Maybe you skipped it. But we know that sexes are chromosomal. They evolve through time just like everything else did. In fact, most living beings don't have sexes. They are asexual reproduction. Sex is something that evolved in animals to spread genetic diversity. The point is here that we know why we have penises. We know why we have these things. It's because of evolution. And if you don't understand this, go learn it.
Sense what you're saying. You want to make sense of what you believe in.
No, this is not a belief, man. This is a fact. We can demonstrate these things.
Who made the facts? Who made the facts?
Nobody makes the facts. We extract them from reality.
What are you talking about? Somebody has to make facts. What do you mean we construct from reality? That makes no sense.
A fact is what describes reality.
Okay, so describe reality.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me answer really quickly. Facts is what describes reality. Reality is beyond us, right? It's beyond our minds. We extract things, we get hints and pieces of data from reality, and we base our models of reality on what we observe. So the evidence of evolution is in our observations that we can falsify and test. That's evolution. And there's no reason to think, we can't falsify a God. We cannot falsify a maker. This is the problem with your point of view. We can't falsify a God at all. Please give us evidence of God or go away.
But this is what I'm saying. You want evidence of God, but who are you to even ask God for evidence?
A person.
We're not,
I'm a
but
person
who are you?
who is curious.
That was made by God. We're curious, so we want fast answers. We want answers quickly.
The fast answer is not always the right answer, and that's why your worldview sucks.
Right? But
this is why your worldview sucks, man, because you're looking for cheap answers.
And you're looking for science from human beings that went to school and created a theory about things.
Ma'am, science is a methodology that depends on the data from reality, not from scientists. Scientists are just the agents that are here to describe and understand reality. It has nothing to do.
That's what they're paid to do, darling. They're paid to do that. They're paid to come up with hypotheses and theories. This is what gets people to.
Ma'am, listen. Scientists don't care about their pay. They don't get paid that much, ma'am. They look at the data, and anybody can do science, even you. And you can do science.
Can I ask you something?
Science. You obviously don't know what science is because you realize that anybody can do it. Anybody can do science.
But I know common sense. So it doesn't make sense what you're saying. It doesn't make sense.
Because you don't understand science. That's why it doesn't make sense to you.
But we're created in. Do you understand? We have body parts that we function with. Do you understand? That can't be created out of evolution.
Why not?
The fact that we urinate. The fact that
why not?
we sneeze.
Why not?
Because it doesn't make sense that evolution would create that. There has to be a beginning to that.
Ma'am, you keep making these claims. Can you give us evidence that evolution is false?
We do them. We do these.
Ma'am, please listen. Give us evidence that evolution is false.
Okay, so evolution is false. It doesn't make sense.
Give us evidence.
But okay, can I ask you? So where did we come from? If do you understand? We're not worms. We're not worms.
Nobody said we're worms. Nobody said we're worms, guys. I know this is hard. Look, asking where do we come from is a different question than how do we get here, or how do we evolve, or how do we, what are our origins? We don't know if there's something prior to the Big Bang, or if there's some cosmic thing out there that we don't know. The universe is mysterious. But what we do know is that the mechanisms of reality are understandable. Evolution is a fantastic mechanism that describes our existence this way. We know that evolution works to describe reality in ways that religion can't. That's why we don't just look at a book for answers. You want cheap answers because you don't care for doing the work. You're too lazy to do science, so you pretend God did it. All right, next.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Great. What's your argument?
Well, my proof is the Holy Bible, bro. The Holy Bible talks about the beginning of heaven and earth was created, and how He created mankind. He created a man and a woman to prosper.
Okay,
and
hold on.
to
You're
live
not
in
going to
this
preach.
world.
So you're not going to
and
preach. You're not going to
to
fucking
love
preach.
one another. So
You're not going to fucking preach on my live. You're going to give me an argument, or you're going to go away. More importantly, the Bible is a book of garbage. Talking snakes, talking donkeys, Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, dragons, wizards, giants. Never happened. Never fucking happened. So either give me evidence for your fucking magic sky daddy, or go away. Choose one, please. And hurry up. Unmute yourself, sir. Okay. Next.
Hello.
Hey, what's your argument?
Hey, actually, can you give me evidence of what you just said?
What did I say? What claim?
Just before that, you never don't believe in anything.
I never said I don't believe in anything. What does that even mean?
Okay. All right. So, have you ever seen a ghost or anything?
No, sir. I've never seen anybody like that.
No.
Now, do you have evidence for a God?
No, but I believe in what
Okay,
you're kind
great.
of
Say
saying
no
right
more.
now.
Say no more. Say no more. Have a good day. Have you seen a ghost? What is this, like Ghostbusters?
Wait.
Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. How are you? What's your evidence for God?
I'm just watching you and listening to what you're saying.
Thank you.
You want?
Do I look pretty?
Yeah.
Hurry up. What's your
Yeah.
argument, man? What's your argument? This isn't Dr. Phil.
Okay. My argument is God is real.
It's not an argument, man. That's a claim. Where's your evidence for this fucking claim?
My evidence for this fucking claim, it is you yourself. I'm looking at you.
Me?
Yes. Yes.
Do I
You.
look in the mirror?
You.
Okay. What about me
Because
is
you are
evidence of a
talking,
God?
you are
What about me
moving.
is evidence of a God?
You are the evidence of God because
How? How? In
you
what
don't know
way?
where
In what
you
way?
came from. You don't know where you came from. He created you.
I do know. I do know. It's called biology. Do you know what biology is?
Yes, I know biology, but biology came up after you. You came after you were
Okay, babe. Have a
created.
good
That's
day.
the
Enjoy your rest of your evening. I'm praying to Spaghetti Monster for you. Hopes he gives you many noodles.
Hello there.
Hey, what's your argument?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Fuck
your
you,
argument?
buddy.
What?
Fuck you.
Oh, there's a Christian love. There's a Jesus love.
Bro, you're a loser.
Oh, thank you so
You're a
much,
loser.
sir. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he died for me. Stop being fake and phony. Yeah, we can see through it.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. What's your argument?
My argument is simply, I'm a believer, but my argument is simply, if I wanted to just go back for a minute when you and the young lady was talking about Adam and Eve, and you asked her, why did they choose to do evil? And as she stated, Eve was misled. When it boils down to it, nothing really changed until Adam took a bite from the
Sir,
fruit. When
stop.
Eve took a bite from the
Stop. You completely don't understand the argument. Why is there evil if God is all good? Why is there evil if Adam and Eve were good and they can't choose to do wrong, or they can't do wrong because they're they're good natured? Do you have an
But
argument
again,
for this
because
or not?
everything was free will.
Okay.
have
Does God have free will?
God has the ability to do whatever He wants.
Okay. Great. Stop. So God has free will. Does God ever do evil?
No.
Why not?
It's because He's God. God can't do. Now, what I will say is this.
So wait. You're saying God can't do evil, right?
What I'm saying to you is,
no, please answer the question. Why can't God do evil? What about Him makes Him not be able to do evil?
Okay, wait a minute. It boils down to what you consider evil. And here's why I say that.
No. I'm doing an internal critique of your evil, sir. I can't debate. I can't do this. If you guys don't understand what an internal critique is, I can't debate you. I'm putting on your worldview for the sake of the argument. I'm becoming a Christian, and what evil is to me is what you think evil is. So your argument doesn't. What I think about evil doesn't matter. Please track with the argument. Next. Hey, what do you got? Jasmine? Jazzy? Jasmine? 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 Okay, have a good day. Jasmine.
Hi.
Hey, what's your argument?
I can't prove you wrong. I just need to agree with you because, like, if someone is not imagining what God looks like, they're delusional.
Can you hear me properly?
He had the audacity to say, "Can you hear me properly?" Hello? Hey, what do you got?
So I was sort of forced to believe, and then it's more of a matter of like, where's your evidence, not mine, because I was forced, and then it just became apparent.
Great. Do you have an argument for God or not?
Yeah, well, I see all the evidence around me where my family pray, and then everything becomes good again because when times are tough, they pray, and then.
Okay, great. So let me pray now. God, I want $1 million. I want lots of money.
But it's more of a mental.
Okay, great. Where is it?
You know, fair enough. Fair enough.
Where is it? Like, what does prayer do? Like, how do you know it works and not just coincidence?
Fair enough with the coincidence, but wouldn't it then also just give someone hope? Like, what's that word? The Mandela effect.
I don't care about hope, sir. I don't give a shit about hope. I care about truth.
Yep. Fair enough.
Have the truth or not?
I don't want to argue with you. I accept that. So I'll let you go, man.
I can find hope elsewhere than your blood cult. Hello?
Yo.
What do you got?
Hey, the lady earlier had a great point, bro. She said evolution, like...
You don't even know what evolution is. Go learn it. Evolution's a fact. We can observe it in our DNA, in fossils. Hey, what do you got?
David.
What is your argument, sir? All right, we have a lot of people. We have 100 people up here. Okay, let me find. Want to be Dean Parker much, dude? I was here before them.
Hey.
Hey, what's your argument?
Okay, first of all, I want to ask you: are you gonna listen to me, or are you gonna shut me down?
I'm all ears.
Okay, so let me talk. Okay, I need to ask a question first. My first question is: so you said you believe in science, right?
No.
No?
I never said that. Science is a method, not a belief, but go ahead.
Well, you believe whatever science proves.
No.
No.
I believe in things that are based on evidence and data and facts. Go ahead.
That's exactly what science does. Anyway.
It can do that, but not everything it does is. Go ahead.
What percentage of truth, according not only to Earth, but to the whole universe, does science have clarified?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
You don't know? Well, I'm very sure it's like a small particle, right? So wait, hold on. No, not really. I don't even have a religion. But then,
ma'am, do you have
my ego,
ma'am,
I
stop,
do.
Stop,
let me speak.
Stop,
No. You're
stop.
such an
This
asshole, man. You need to let people talk.
Time.
No.
Do you have an argument for your magic space daddy or not?
I do. Just listen to me.
Let's hear it.
If you can believe in science because or listen to evidence or believe in evidence, or so be it, of only the small percentage of things that have been proven, then that means you do not believe in all the things that we know exist, because, for example, there's the sea and there's this whole world of the sea that has not been able to be discovered by science.
Ma'am, just because there are things we don't know doesn't mean God is filled with that unknown. You can't fill in God with the gaps of our knowledge.
That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
great.
is,
so then what is your argument for God?
My argument for God, you know what? I don't even call it God. I don't think God is a person. I don't think God is a man who's in...
All right, have a good day. Guys, give an argument or go away. If you don't have an argument, you don't have time, you don't have a point. You don't have any reason being here. We're debating. This isn't, a talk show. I'm rude? Well, religion's ruder. Your religion's ruder. So get used to me, boy. Hey, what do you got?
Hello?
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2005.
Okay, what's your argument?
So my argument is, you say you don't believe in God, but we're all spirits, right? We all have a spirit. We all are a living spirit, right?
Where's your evidence of that?
Well, how do you move on your own? How does your body move?
Cellular activity and energy.
How do you process? How does a brain function? How do you know? How do you have emotion?
Your cells convert energy like CO2 and oxygen into glucose.
But that doesn't make you who you are as a person. Every person is different.
It does. Your brain is what generates your personality.
Are me and you the same person?
What?
Are me and you the same person?
No.
Okay. Why? Because we all have different spirits and souls.
But we all have different brains too.
Okay, but we all are different people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and when we all are a different spirit, what I'm basically trying to say is that God is a spirit as well as of us.
How do you know this?
Because he recreated us as
how do you know that?
His own image. He said that. He's literally stated that he created us in his own image.
Harry Potter said that he's a wizard. Does that mean he's a wizard in real life?
What does Harry Potter have to do with God?
What's the difference? It's the same shit.
He's not God. He's a made-up character.
It's the same shit. There's wizards in the Bible.
But he's made up in a book. This is a story this is a true book.
You got a book too. You got a book too, girl.
But there's a fiction and there's non-fiction. Is there right? There's different.
Your book is fiction too. Your book is fiction too.
How do you know that? Can you prove that behind your science of evolution?
Talking donkeys, talking snakes, Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, wizards, dragons, giants don't exist.
God speaks in parables. Just because it is stated that doesn't mean that's exactly what it is. He speaks in parables.
So everything that's false in the Bible is a parable.
It's not false. It just has a different meaning.
So what's the meaning of talking donkeys?
It's in the what parable are you talking about? Like, you got to be specific.
Numbers 22.
So what are you saying?
It says donkeys can talk in Numbers 22. Why the fuck is that? How the fuck can that be possibly real?
Okay. You know what? You could think that God is imaginary, but people out here, they really believe that God's real because they're spirit as people.
Yeah, right? You tell it, girl. You tell it.
Yeah, because you won't let nobody else speak, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. But I proved my point.
It's okay.
It's good.
All
Thank
right,
you for
honey,
letting
I'm
me come
praying for
on,
you.
though. For sure. Thank you.
I'm praying for you.
All right.
Jesus loves you.
I didn't say all that, but
Jesus loves you more.
I mean, hey,
All
what's
right,
coming
have a
for
good
you?
day. Guys, just because you think we have
Hi,
spirits doesn't
how
mean
are
that.
you?
Great, what do you got?
Huh?
What's your argument? Hurry up.
Okay, you don't have to be so rude, man.
You
I feel
do.
like there has to be some sort of creator to bring anything into existence.
Why?
Well, I feel like there's a creator for everything that we see.
Why? Why?
There's always some sort of higher. Why are you shaking your head? What do you have
You're not.
against that?
You're just saying
What
what
is
you
your argument?
feel.
What is your argument against that? What is your argument against?
You have no evidence for it.
I'm not saying God. I'm saying that something created what we are living in right now.
Who cares? What's your evidence of this?
Well, there is no evidence.
Okay, great. Have a good day.
How?
I agree. There's no evidence. What a coinky dick. Hey, what do you got, Trish?
Well, it's all a myth. When it comes down to it, we're just all...
Okay, have a good day, ma'am. Go take your pills. Next. Okay, that was kind of rude. I'm sorry. Sorry, Grandma.
Easy.
Hey, what do you got?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What do you got?
Hello? All right, so why do you think God is imaginary? I just want to get that.
Because every time people come up, you fail at giving good arguments.
No, but why do you think God is imaginary? Like, what made you think that?
Education.
Like, what education, though? Like,
I don't know, science, biology, learning, mathematics.
So you think mathematics and science proves that God is not real?
No, it demonstrates that claims of the Bible and the Quran are garbage. It also demonstrates that things like evolution are a fact, and they demonstrate that there's no intelligence design behind those things. Now, do you have any evidence of a God or not?
Well, I believe that we're all God. Like, all of us are God, and
we're all Power Rangers. We're all Power Rangers. Like, this is what you're doing, sir. Give me evidence of a God. Like, give me evidence of something like that you believe.
We are evidence of God. We create our own reality. We are God.
Then my reality is that you go away. There you go. It works. We create our realities. Next. All right. That's what happens when you believe in God. That's what happens. Happens to all of them. Even the best of us. Poor guy. Poor guy.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, what do you got?
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter what you believe. There is no reason for you to be so disrespectful towards everybody like that older woman.
Me?
That was just rude.
I'm disrespectful?
You are disrespectful.
Well, I'm praying for you.
I'm not Catholic, but it doesn't matter what you believe in.
Are you Christian?
You don't need to be rude to people.
Are you Christian? Are you Christian?
No.
Are you Muslim?
No.
Are you Jewish?
No, I don't have a religion. I'm
still
just finding my way, but there's no
you're
reason for
raw.
you to be rude to people.
I'm praying for you.
Who the
Sorry guys, it's late for me, so everything's funny to me now. What do you got?
Hiya. So, the reason why I believe that there's a God is through experiences and through proven experiences that I've seen and that other people have witnessed around me have seen the same thing. And that's why I believe that.
What did you experience? You found a parking spot? You found your car keys for you?
No, so basically I've experienced things and witnessed things that we've all seen at the same time. And could you prove that everybody at the same time did not see that same thing, that God existed?
Ma'am, you're
Say
just
there's like 10
babbling right
people and
now.
we're
You're
all
just
seeing the same
yapping,
thing at the
ma'am.
same
Like,
time.
man, get off of the yapping juice and start realizing what you're saying is nonsense. Just because people have different experiences does not mean that God is real. Where's your evidence that God exists?
It was the same experience. So basically what it was is they saw like a picture of like Jesus in a cloud and everyone saw the same thing. Now what would you say about that?
It's a cloud, man. A cloud.
No,
It's a
just for
cloud.
like argument's sake,
It's a cloud. It's a fucking cloud.
No, but like there was Jesus in there. So what would you say about that? Would you say everyone's experience was wrong? Would you say everyone saw?
What was
Would
Jesus
you
doing
say
in the
everyone's?
cloud? What was Jesus doing in the cloud? Jerking off? What is he doing? Pissing?
Okay, there's about 15 people that saw the same thing. Now, me as a person would say the same thing as you. I'd be like, 1 minute, nah.
Okay,
Well,
I can't do this. Next. I saw Jesus pissing in a cloud. It was crazy. Clouds have shapes and patterns. Big deal. What do you got?
Hey, stop being rude to these niggas, bro. You a bitch for real. I hope you get your ass beat, nigga.
Okay. Are you
Fucking
Christian?
lame.
Are you Christian?
Shut the fuck up, bro.
Oh,
let
are
people
you
talk, you
Christian?
lame ass nigga. What you getting your wife fucked?
I'm gonna assume that you're a Christian.
Shut up, bitch.
So, because you're not answering. So, the funny thing is, Christians think I should burn to death. So if you think I'm rude, you're a whole lot fucking ruder. Because you think I should be deserving of death and punishment, all because I don't believe in your fairy tale. So don't tell me that I'm rude when you're the ones taking away laws and regulations that improve our lives. You're taking away rights from people. You're rude. You're ruder than me. And the funny thing is you don't even know. Okay. I may be rude, but I'm right. I'd rather be rude and right than ignorant and wrong. And nice.
What's
Hello?
up, bro?
What do you got?
How you doing, man?
What's your
Look,
evidence for
I don't want to argue anything, but before I can start to say why God exists, but I want to understand, how did you come to the conclusion?
Read my book. It's all in my book. Link in bio. All right. We have a lot of people today, guys. A lot of people. Lots of tremendous people, okay, from all countries, many countries, including China. Excuse me. We're going to build a wall around the Christians, okay? A tremendous wall, okay? Hello?
Can you hear me?
How old are you?
I'm 23.
All right, what's your argument?
All right, Mike. I got one that's gonna stump you. And I think this might be the evidence you're looking for.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. If God is fake, who put the salt in the oceans?
This is your argument?
I'm serious.
Okay, I think with the salt maker, the salt man, he had a big bowl of salt, and he was pouring it into the oceans over many years.
Okay, now you're being rude, Mike.
No.
Now you're being rude again.
So we know that salts are common in the solar system. Enceladus is a moon of Saturn, and it has an ocean of salt water underneath the ice of it. And the salts originate from things like, lithiums, atoms, things like sodium, chlorine, chloride atoms. These are salts that are found all in rocks and rocky materials, and over time, the rocky materials become weathered, and they go into the oceans and become salty. It's not God. It's not Jesus. It's just chemistry.
It's just chemistry?
Yeah. Wait, are you actually serious?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I was going to say, holy shit. Okay. I thought he'd be serious for it. I was like, what?
Yo.
What do you got?
What's up, man? So I get what you're asking. Like, you're asking, like, you want a physical piece of evidence so that I could show you to say, like, God's real. So real quick, if he were to come down right now and he were to do, like, supernatural things, like, yeah, it would get around and everybody would believe it. Everybody would be able to believe. That defeats the whole purpose of what it's rooted in, which is faith. Like, that's the whole point behind it. Like, and that's why evil exists.
Right, but do you realize that I can make this argument for anything? Like, I can say, well, there's a magic unicorn out there, and the reason why he doesn't show us is because that would disprove faith, right? That would take the whole point away from faith. But you can use this for anything. So this seems to be a big fucking cop-out on your side.
Right, and I know you're not gonna like this, but having read the Bible, I know you think it's a piece of garbage, but having read it, understood it, it's definitely in more depth than what a magic unicorn can write. I just think here's my thing.
So what's your evidence that the Bible's true?
Okay, hold on. Because you're saying, how can an all good God allow evil to exist, or how can he create evil or whatever? If he didn't allow evil to happen, yeah, everybody could believe that, everybody. But the whole purpose is to see who. It's a test of faith. That's what everything is. It's a test of faith.
Okay, so are you saying that? How about, for example, babies who get cancer and die as babies? What was their test from God?
And so with that example, I would say there is verses in the Bible that literally say outright that the reason behind things is beyond human understanding. There is a verse that says that. I can't quote it. I don't know the exact reference.
So what you're saying is, what you're doing is you're saying, well, whatever happens, God did it. This is the problem with your argument. It's not falsifiable, because in every case, every example I give you, you just say, well, God has a reason. And what this does is it opens up Pandora's box. Now anything is acceptable to you because God has a reason. Every murder, every rape, every bad event is because God has a reason. And at this point, you no longer have a objective measurement of what is good or bad. Everything's muddied into one picture where everything's acceptable now. Everything is good because God allows it. And this is the problem with saying God has a reason.
Got you. And I respect your view. And all I want to say is I 100% believe, and once again, I believe a belief. I don't know for a fact. I believe it wholeheartedly that there is many things that God is not allowing to happen.
Okay, you're not going to preach. You're going to stop preaching now and give us an actual evidence-based argument for God, please.
Right. And once again, I mean, you'll probably kick me out, but I'm telling you, it's rooted in faith.
Okay. And I have faith that you're wrong. Now we're back to square one. Faith is useless. It leads nowhere. It is only true by coincidence. All right, next. I'm only here because we have a lot of guests today. So you guys, the more you guys stay on, I'll pull an all-nighter for you guys, I guess. Thank you for the gifts, by the way. Shit. Hello?
Understand why you're so rude for like no reason. Like,
religion's ruder. When every time I debate, I think of the people who are kicked out of their homes because they become atheist, or kicked out of their homes because they come out as gay. That's who I think of every time I debate, because that is rude at the finest degree possible. That's rude. I'm not being rude here. I'm just being uncomfortable to you. You don't like being wrong.
Hello. Okay, I'm so glad that you picked me again. I've been freaking out over here. Okay, so do you know anything about the Fibonacci sequence? I'm sure you do because your IQ is probably 140 or something. But
150. 150. Come on.
Well, then you're probably
Anyway, hold
extremely
on.
gifted. So my point,
The Fibonacci sequence.
Fibonacci sequence, yeah, I know about that as well, but I think that is proof that God exists. But I wouldn't say
No.
that God is a, hold on. Let me speak. I don't think that God should be an actual word, if that makes sense, because it's,
Okay, so yeah, the Fibonacci sequence is a mathematical expression of it doesn't mean
right,
that
and
God is real.
it's throughout nature.
Hold on. It is a pattern-based idea, just like every other human idea there is.
Yes, even our space has the Fibonacci sequence.
Hold on. No, it doesn't.
The perfect ratio from our eyes to the,
Hold on.
Sorry.
Humans seek for patterns everywhere we go. We
But
seek
it's
for
math.
patterns. And the Fibonacci sequence is just like every other mathematical thing there is. It's just the
But math
pattern
and
that we
science,
are
they go
observing
to-
in reality. The
Okay.
pattern has no bearing on whether or not there is a person or a who behind it. There could be natural reasons why there's patterns in the universe. Natural order. Why must there be an agent?
No, I don't believe there's an agent. I believe that there's a master creator. Who
That's
knows?
an agent. Do you know what an agent is? That's an agent.
Okay.
So
Or
the point
designer,
is, that
you would
doesn't
say the
have to
same thing
be.
for that?
Okay, so here's
Do
an
you believe
example.
in time travel?
Listen, hold on. We have two worlds, world A and world B. In world A, God exists, and so does the Fibonacci sequence. In world B,
Well, you're talking about the Matrix,
hold
correct?
on. In world B, God doesn't exist, and the Fibonacci sequence exists as well. What is the difference between these two worlds?
God, the word God, and the whole creation of it to
How do we
cause division between people.
How do we tell the difference between these two worlds?
Yeah, I guess like you said, people believe in faith or they'll believe in
Exactly.
facts.
Exactly. There is no distinguishing factor that can allow us to distinguish a universe that was designed between a universe that was not designed.
Correct, but you
This is
do
the
believe
problem.
that there are patterns in the universe mathematically, right? Like the Fibonacci sequence.
No,
Leonardo
I think no. So there are different views on this philosophically. There are mathematical realists. I happen to be a mathematical anti-realist, and my position is that mathematics is simply the way our brains operate. There is nothing real about mathematics. It is something our brains do. And to me, when you look at patterns, that is just a simple reflection of our own mind. That's it.
Hey, what's good, bro? Hey, I was just tell you
Hello.
What do you got?
Do you believe in Satan if you're an atheist?
No, an atheist is someone who doesn't believe in a God. That's it.
So what proof or evidence do you have that he doesn't exist in your way?
Well, it's not that I say I can prove he doesn't exist. I say that there's no good reason to believe in a God. There's no reason. There's lack of evidence, right? There's no evidence of a God, and there's also logical inconsistencies in your God. Things like the problem of evil, divine hiddenness, the omni paradoxes. Those are things that we can point out and say that these are not logical.
So then both sides are just never going to meet up, because if you have no proof, and then if we have no physical
But the
proof or
problem
evidence,
is you don't have a side. The problem is you just cling to some religion that has
there's
no
two
basis.
sides. There's
No, there's not
atheists
two
and then
sides.
there's believers.
So the problem is that you have no coherent definition for what God is. You think you have a side, but what you have is a imaginary conglomerate of different ideas mixed into one thing. You don't have an actual coherent worldview. God, by definition, is ambiguous. It means many different things to many different people. So unless you can define God properly, I can't assess if it's possible or not.
And just like just all through faith. Just like as you're an atheist,
And faith is as
people
good
as
as
an atheist don't
coincidence.
want to choose to believe in different things because
Faith
they
is
have their
as
own
good as
mindsets.
watching grass grow. Faith does nothing useful for truth.
Well, it's all based through faith, is what I'm saying, though.
That's why I'm not a theist, because faith is stupid. Faith gets you nowhere, except in circles.
So in the Bible, how it's stated how the world's going to end and everything that falls in line, if you read it, like
Sir,
everything coming.
you guys say this every year, and it never happens.
No, I'm not saying it's going to end this year. I'm just saying
A broken clock is right twice.
I'm just saying if you read the Bible over and over and understood it every time, you understand something different over and over every time that you didn't catch the last time.
The same with Harry Potter. The same with Spider-Man. The same with Batman.
But I'm saying you're not understanding it because you already have your own worldviews and mindset, and you're an atheist, so you don't want to choose to change or believe.
I will choose to change my belief based on the evidence that comes with it. And if you have no good evidence, I will not believe it. The Bible is a book of mythology, frankly. It is based on zero evidence, and it is incoherent babble. The Bible is not an eyewitness account. It is a great story. It's a cute story for kids, but it's no more than that.
Well, that's why you have to have faith. That's what I'm saying. It's all based through faith.
But you have to have faith.
Well, if you choose not to, that's everybody's choice. That's what God gives. He gives everybody the choice to believe what they want.
How do you know God gives you that?
Because that's how you understand it through the Bible and faith. He gives everybody the choice.
Okay, great.
You choose to do right, you choose to do
my
bad.
faith is that you're wrong and that there is no God. Now, who's right?
Nobody's right because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I'm saying,
Then how do you
through
know
the
that
Bible,
you're right?
He gives you
How
the choice.
How do you know
and
that?
it states you have the choice to do what you
in
want.
other words, why do you believe if you have no reason to believe it?
Because there's a better ending.
How do you know that?
Through faith.
Faith isn't knowledge. I tell that.
It doesn't need to be knowledge. Faith is belief.
I can have, yes.
So as long as you have faith,
everybody's
everybody's allowed to have their own choice, is what I'm saying.
Sure, I can believe in anything, sir, but the problem is I want to know the truth. And if you care about the truth, you're not going to have faith. You're going to look at the evidence and see if you can prove it wrong or falsify it. That's how truth is established. Not by believing because you want to or because you fear the consequences of not believing. That's ridiculous. You have faith in something that is fear-based. You only believe because you fear hell. Let's face it. You don't have any evidence of God. You just don't want to go to hell because you're egotistical and you're selfish.
No, it's just because faith. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's entitled to their own thing. Like, I'm not telling you you're wrong because you're an atheist. I'm not arguing against you on that.
If there was no hell, would you be a Christian?
I'm not a Christian.
What are you, Muslim?
No, I don't claim anything.
So then why did you cite the Bible?
Because I'm just explaining from what I've understood it as.
You said the Bible is true.
Yeah, no, I said I'm explaining things of the Bible. I didn't say it was true.
So you think the Bible's false?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
I don't care about fucking opinions. I want truth. See,
There's
this
no
is the
truth in
problem with you
anything.
guys. The problem is I care. I'm honest about what I think is true. You're not. You are willing to believe in things for no reason.
So what's your backstory on how everything was created? Like, what do you think?
It wasn't created. Again, you are assuming creation for no reason. Look at how appealing it is to look around the world and say, this is true.
Mark Webb. Yo,
It's
hello, Mike. Hi, please don't kick me out. I have a really good point. All right, so look, do you believe that there is truth in the world, like not objective truth, just all around truth?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you believe that there is truth?
Because there's reasons and evidence and logic behind it.
What kind of evidence makes you believe that something is true?
Depends on the claim. For example, gravity. We can measure gravity. We can measure the velocity of things falling. We can measure the mass and weight of objects.
All right. So if something is true, right? Let's say we're in a video game, right? Or let's say, okay, you would say that the universe abides by a certain laws, right? There's literal laws of physics, right? Rules and laws. You don't think that there are literal laws of physics? Gravity is one of the laws of physics.
Yeah, but
You just
the
brought
laws
up
of
gravity.
the laws of physics are descriptors of reality.
Yeah.
See, what you're doing is you're confusing the map for the territory. What you're saying is our understanding of reality is equivalent to reality. That's not true.
Okay, but okay,
Logic,
you said it's
math.
truth though. You
Hold on.
said
Math,
okay, my bad.
the laws of nature. These are descriptive things. These are descriptive statements about reality and how we
Then
think it works.
what is truth
The
then? What is
universe,
truth?
the
If
universe does not.
something is I'm sorry. I'll
The
let you finish.
universe does not care about laws. The universe does not follow laws. The universe just exists. Laws is how we describe the mechanisms of reality.
Okay. If that's how, if it's not a rule and it's just our understanding of it, what makes it true then? If it's just our understanding, if it's just our perception of it and it's not factual, it's not written in stone that it's truth. Why do you
Yeah,
say
so
that truth
there
is?
are different types of truths, right? There are empirical truths; those are based on our senses, sensory data. There is analytical truths; these are based on
Okay,
different.
like gravity. There is gravity.
Yeah,
Can we let's
gravity is true because we can falsify it. We can verify it.
Okay, we can verify it, right? So there is a reason. Why is there a reason that why? Let's just think about it. Let's just think about why that is true. Why? Okay, let me just get to my point. I'm just going to get to my point and not even. In order for there to be, I think that there are rules of physics and gravity is one of them. And like all the ones we learned in school are rules of physics.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
order for
So
there to be,
again,
can I finish my point really quick, Mike? Really quick. Let me, please, really quick. I think that in any society, in a video game, in anything, there are rules that the players and the people that live there must abide by, and they can't break these rules. And if there are rules there, I just think that somebody had to have made these rules.
Okay.
Somebody with
Great.
intelligence had
Let me
to have
respond now.
written these rules.
Let me respond now. Let me respond.
Okay.
So first of all, when it comes to laws of nature, again, they are descriptive of nature, and we are the ones perceiving these laws. We come up with the laws. We're making up the laws to describe reality. Now, when it comes to the simulation thing, you're trying to make a correlation between laws of nature and a simulation. Well, the problem is that the simulation idea is cute, and I might even agree with you there. The problem is that we can do this ad infinitum. There's an infinite regression of simulations. So asking, like if you're going to say that there's a simulator behind the simulation, well, who simulated the simulator, right? And we could go on forever and ever.
But I think
At
that the
some point, hold
simulator
on.
might. Okay, go ahead.
At some point, we can stop and say that there is some natural necessary existence, and that could be a natural existence, perhaps our universe.
Or perhaps the person that created
the
our
simulation
universe.
does not do anything for you. It doesn't give you any utility.
Okay. Man. So if you all right. Huh. I'll tap out right now, man. I'm pretty gone right now.
All right.
It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
Hello, how you doing?
Okay, what do you got?
I understand your beliefs. You go by science and everything, but we go off of the year calendar 2023 because Christ is Lord, and I'm about to tell you why Christ is Lord.
No. You're not going to tell me why Christ exists or that stuff. You're going to give me an argument for God or go away. And if your only argument for God is the year or the calendar year is
Christ
2023,
is God. Christ is God.
People made up the calendar. So give us
So
evidence
Christ
of
is God, and you're literally following the same calendar. And it's been predetermined that Christ has been.
Sir, do you know that there's different calendars in different parts of the world? The calendar is made up by people. And in the 1500s, Catholic priests made sure that they changed the calendar, they altered the calendar to make it align with the Christian narrative. But it doesn't mean that God exists because we use a certain calendar. That's ridiculous. So give an actual argument or go away, please. Yeah, these people can vote. We don't want to hear your preaching. I know you want to come up here and you think you're a preacher. God loves you. He died for you. But guess what? It doesn't work with me. I am not gullible. I don't base my beliefs on fear. I base my beliefs on the evidence. You're not going to scare me by saying, you're a sinner. That's garbage. It's a blood cult. I'm asking for evidence. If you don't have any, go away. Hey, what do you got? Never mock
Yo.
Jesus. What's he going to do? Smite me?
So wait. First of all, are you good? You seem like stressed.
Well, when people like you, or Christians or Muslims, when they try to establish their rules as law of the land, that's when I get frustrated. When you try to take away the rights of people
Wait, but
who
you
are
said
minding
that.
their own business and being themselves, you're trying to take away their rights. That is where I get frustrated. So yes, I don't like what Christianity is doing to our society. It is wrong. That's
No,
why
but
I'm
wait.
against it.
You said that we're scared to go to hell.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Well,
fear-based
but
cult.
you're scared because you just said that you're scared.
I'm not
So
scared of
you're
anything,
scared of
sir.
God.
I'm not scared of anything.
So you're scared of God then.
God doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
basically what you just said.
How do I fear something that doesn't exist?
No, but it does. You're just scared.
Scared of what? Bring it.
God.
Bring it. Come on,
That's
God.
'cause
I
you're
mean, God.
scared.
Sir, I'd be the first person to be happy that God comes into my
You're
life. That'd
scared
be
of
crazy.
God.
That'd be
That's it.
amazing. I'm not scared of jack shit. Come on,
Yes,
God.
you are. You're
Come
scared
at me,
of
bro.
God.
Come at me, bro.
You're scared of God. That's just it.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, God.
That's why you're over here stressed. You look like you're about to self-destruct. Like, come on, dude.
Well, when you live in a world where people around you are believing in nonsense, that is when you fight. That's when you fight.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, question. So I also don't believe in God, but would you rather have the majority of the world right now believe in a God? So let's say we disprove God, right? Do you think society would be better right now, or people will go
Absolutely.
crazy? Do people
Absolutely.
go crazy that their beliefs are
Religion,
wrong?
absolutely not. See, people think that when you leave religion, you're going to go crazy, you're not going to have any purpose. That's the opposite. See, I have plenty of purpose as an atheist. I find purpose in my family, my friends, my
I
life
agree.
around me. I am a more fulfilled person than I ever was as a religious person because there's no God. Because guess what? This is all we got. One chance, one shot, one life. And in this world where I wake up every morning and I go, holy shit, this could be my last day. This could be the last day I get, right? That view is even more precious. It makes you realize how much more precious life is
Yes.
when there is no God. So to me, the idea that God gives us purpose and no other method can give you purpose is ridiculous. Science gives me purpose. Learning gives me purpose.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm a nurse, so I know a lot of like religion gets tied in the hospital and stuff like that. But for me, I believe in the facts. It's just the question is, if we took religion out of the question and everyone was taught was a lie.
Yes, there
do you
are
think
some people. Yes, I agree. There are
do you
some
think there's gonna be
people
more
who,
evil though? Like people would just start like doing whatever they want, kill people, and
yeah. So I agree that there are some people on the planet who just have to be religious. They just have to be this way. But for the vast majority of us, we can learn. We can be better. And if you think that because there's no God, I get to murder, well, that's a root problem in your own being. That is not because of religion. Religion is not going to be the help there. What's going to help us is a fundamental understanding of how things work, a fundamental understanding of morality and ethics, a better framework. That's what's going to help us, not by clinging to religions and thinking that that's the only thing that's going to save us, when we can do better than that on our own terms, independently.
yes, I agree with that. But I just don't think that people in society would.
Well, let's try. I'd rather live my life and try to do something great than give up and do nothing. I'd rather try to change the world than just give up. Because there is a possibility for great change to happen. There is. We can live in a better world. We can do it. It just takes a more different thinking.
Hello,
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, great. What's your argument?
I just want to say one thing, and it's no disrespect to you or anything like that, and I'm sorry if it comes off that way, but my thing is that if you're atheist and if you don't believe in God, that's your opinion. But at the end of the day, if others believe in the Lord and whatnot, just let people enjoy their religion. I mean, I understand where you're coming from and whatnot, no respect, but at the end of the day, though, people are going to have their opinion and,
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
I'm not saying you have to become an atheist, am I?
Yeah, of course, yes.
What I'm saying is, if you care about truth, we should be asking better questions. We should be asking good questions, not wrong questions. That's all I'm saying here. I'm saying that maybe there is another way of seeing the world, a more fruitful method to truth than just
And
believing in a book. That's all I'm saying.
what would that be for you?
And what I'm saying is maybe the world can improve. Maybe the world can get better if we simply detached ourselves from these primitive notions of some magic God who's going to come and save us. When maybe we can help ourselves. Maybe we don't need somebody out there to help us. Science is a way more fruitful methodology to truth. Science gets us everything we know and love. Our phones, cars, internet, rockets, right? Everything we love today comes from science, comes from a better, more rigorous understanding of reality than just, oh, it's in this book, therefore it's true. That's all I'm saying. My life changed dramatically. Not just because I became an atheist, but because I started thinking more. I started thinking more critically, became more critical of my beliefs. That's why I'm hard on you guys, because I'm hard on myself. Every belief I have, I'm constantly learning every day. I'm constantly improving. No belief is exempt from criticism, not even mine. So imagine if we all had higher standards of evidence. Imagine if we all cared about science literacy. Imagine if we actually understood how evolution works. Imagine if everybody understood the Big Bang and cosmology to some degree, right? We'd have more understanding of ourselves. We'd have more understanding of each other. Instead of having a religious point of view where everything's bad and scary and demonic, right? Everything's the end times. Every day's going to die. Every day we're going to die. Oh no, the end times. Right? That perspective to me is like being in a bubble where everything's scary and bad. Well, how about we get out of this bubble for a second and realize that there's a much grander universe out there, perhaps grander than anything we even imagined. So to me, science is more than just a subject in school. Science is a way of thinking, a way of actually appreciating things. The more I learn, the more I appreciate reality. That's something that religion can't do. Because religion is just in a book and you have to believe. But science has access to a whole world out there, a whole mystery out there, where there's an infinite number of things to learn.